Okay, let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PUBG Mobile America's Challengers. Today is the final day, and with me is the incredible DK. Welcome, DK. What do you think of the final day?
Well, it is the final day, of course, of league stage, right? Not the final day of the event. We still have 3 more days to go, but it is the last opportunity for teams to try and qualify to get themselves into the finals, which will be happening very soon. So to answer your question, I'm pretty excited, of course. We've already had 3 amazing days of play. Looking forward to seeing what the teams are going to be bringing in and who's going to be stepping it up. Who will be taking away those sought after seats to make it up into the finals. Of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure on these squads to see who will be the ones to make it. But I'm expecting a lot of chaos, a lot of carnage to come through for the squads to try and secure every placement they can find here.
Oh, we have had so many impressive plays. I am so excited to see how these teams will bring it today. We know that we've got some teams up at that top, but I really want to see the teams down on that lower right just come in guns blazing. They really need to step it up today because, you know, we're going to be losing some of our teams.
Yep. 4 squads are not going to make it through into the finals from what we understand. So there's going to be some pretty high expectations. I expect maybe a few upsets. Of course, yesterday we did take a look at those standings before we ended the broadcast, looking at how close the teams are. So as we saw already, and we'll take a look at it again, I believe, before we get into today's matches, there is still a bit of an opportunity, right, for a lot of the teams to improve those overall positionings. But as you've mentioned, the team's sitting a little bit further down the board, right? They're not out of it yet, right? There's still an opportunity for CP9, for the players from, who's the other 9? I know there's another 9.
6-9
in there as well. Yes, 6-9, and of course Dauntless. There's still an opportunity for all those teams to step it up and make sure that they can get their butts into the qualifying seats, because the pressure is on. And I mean, we've definitely seen 6-9 and CP9 really bring a lot of that pressure in, trying to see if they can contest. Can they get the eliminations? Can they get those placement points? And so far, I mean, we do see an increase, but we've not just seen enough of it yet, right? Of course, that gap has closed up considerably, which we can't see. We're currently still just looking here at the teams. But yesterday, we were also asking for Dauntless to up the ante, right? To bring in a lot more of that performance. And they did, but I don't think they brought enough, right? We want to see more. So today is going to be the final opportunity. But the problem here is, I think, if you need points, right, you cannot drop the ball at all today, right? You're going to have to make sure that you play probably one of the best games that you've been playing so far to ensure that you can make it into the finals.
And yesterday we had 2 Rondo maps that I thought we were going to get a lot more scores, a lot more points, especially from these bottom teams, and we didn't quite see that. Here's our matches for tonight, though. DK, we're going to Erangel, Miramar, Rondo, Miramar, and tonight we will finish with Erangel.
Yeah, we definitely will. So we go back to the tried and tested rotation from the first 2 days. Of course, yesterday was our double dose of Rondo. Today, we only get 1. So Group C, they're going to miss out on that extra Rondo serving. But speaking about servings, here we get served with our MVPs so far. As you can see, of course, we've got Revo instead taking the spot from Law. Law was at the start of the day, sitting all the way at the top of the board. But Revo with the strong performances yesterday, climbing all the way up to 30 eliminations, ensuring that they sit atop this leaderboard. So Cole also yesterday, right at the end of the day, had some pretty strong plays. We did see that 1v4 clutch up coming through over on Miramar. So absolutely fantastic showing that we had there. But the big question here, Green, I would say is, can he do it again? Can Cole King have another phenomenal day and just carry 9Z forward?
Oh, that that play, that 1v4 was insane in that Miramar match. The way he threw the smokes for the distraction, he got the team separated. He was able to take those 1v1s instead of taking on a 1v4 to clutch it up and take the win. I would love to see another play like that. It was so impressive.
Yeah, it definitely was. But of course, hopefully we'll get a lot more than just one showing. Speaking about which, here we go. The overall standings where the teams find themselves coming into day number 3. Alpha 7 with 117 points to flex it out. Influence Rage just 6 points behind them there. But look at Alpha 7. I almost said Alpha Rage. That's not quite a team, right? But Alpha 7 coming through with 93 eliminations. If they add the 7 from their name in, they would have hit a century just on eliminations alone. So a very impressive stat to see there coming through from them. Of course, actually Esports, right? I spoke about them yesterday being super aggressive. Again, you can see that 78 eliminations and only 13 placement points. I mean, their placement point situation is same as like JP Esports, for instance, right? But Action have more than double the eliminations that JP has been able to secure. So that definitely sets quite a bit of a precedent for what the teams need to bring in here today. They're going to have to find that aggressive switch somewhere along the line. But of course, if we look over towards the right-hand side, we can see straight out of Nepal, Savage, really close, right? Both teams tied with exactly the same amount. But what's interesting, though, is straight out of Nepal have a winner chicken dinner next to their name. So I want to see them climb the board even more so, right? We want to see the teams continue to apply, continue to push. Because as we know, and as we've mentioned quite a few times already, only a select few teams can make it through into the final. So if these teams situated further down the rankings are hungry enough, they can still make it happen today. Because realistically looking at it, if they play consistent few matches, right, at least the first 2 games that they play for the day, if they're super consistent, I can't see why they won't make it much further up the ranking. So the pressure is on, but can they pull it off?
Yes, because today we're going to be finding out who goes into finals with those bonus points. Also, DK, not only are we losing our 4 teams, but we are also giving the top teams some bonus points going into finals. So these teams, if they want those bonus points, they got to step it up. And I see a lot of teams that are really close to that 100 points. So let's go. We got a lot going on today. Ooh, what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see more strategy, or do you think we're going to see a lot more head-to-head today?
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more aggression, right? Because a lot of the teams that are super capable of bringing in a lot of that aggression are going to be looking to double down. Right? I can't see why they wouldn't do it, right? It makes perfect sense for them to do that here today, to flex those aggression muscles, to show us everything they've got and a lot more than that. But I'm a little bit worried for the ones who've not been able to do it yet, right? We want to see those plays. We want to see everybody just get blown out of the water here. So I'm curious as to whether or not it's going to be a thing, right? I mean, is Alpha 7 Influence Team Salame, iNCO, and Wolves going to go crazy today? Yeah. Most likely, right? I mean, they've been going crazy over the previous few days, so it's kind of to be expected to see that same kind of performance come through from them. But I think if you look at the teams over on the left-hand side that could also potentially even look to step it up a bit more, I would definitely talk about Action, right? I've already mentioned the amount of eliminations they have. Influence Rage has the exact same amount of eliminations, but they've got 20 more placement points. So if Action is going to look to maybe pull a hat out of a rabbit here today, they will have to come through with, I would say, maybe 2 winner chicken dinners. And yes, I said a hat out of a rabbit, not a rabbit out of a hat.
That's neat. I'm not sure that's going to be a happy rabbit. But we did see on their first day, Team Salame with 2 winner chicken dinners. So it's not impossible for any of these teams to bring home a couple extra chickens.
Yeah, I mean, they can bring in the whole coop, right? All of them. Speaking about which, it is going to be time for us to hop into match numero uno here for the 4th and last day of league stage. Of course, we are going to be starting off with that flight path coming in from the north, heading to the south. a slight bit of a slant, but it's not going to be too devastating for the squads. I'm curious to see what the zone's going to be doing, right? Because we've seen this with this flight path, the zone has gone to the east, but the zone has also gone to the west. So it can go in any of those directions. And I'm pretty curious to find out which one it will be.
I'm feeling it's going to go over towards that Milta power. I don't know why, but that's just the gut feeling I have for this. And I know that you really want to see a military base. I always feel bad for these teams when they have to figure out how to get down to the base with all the 2 bridges. And then we've only got the hovercrafts, but the hovercrafts do put a lot into play as well.
Yeah, they definitely do, and it makes things quite interesting. It's only unfortunate that you can't use weapons while in the hovercraft, right? I think it would have been so OP if you were able to do that, but maybe that's for good reason. So we'll see just how these teams are going to look to utilize the vehicles as they look to get themselves situated. But for the time being, we're not necessarily looking at any crazy drops. The zone, however, is going to take us down towards Novorepnoye, centering up right on that eastern bridge. So for 9Z and TGAMES, I think this is an interesting starting point. But the Wolves, though, they've got a lot of company coming in alongside them. They did see Malona there from the side of 9Z also kind of heading up with them. And then, of course, right there in the mix, I believe that is JP that has decided to drop down alongside the Wolves. So I like this, that they are trying to test the water in the early stages of the day.
Yeah, I do see quite a few teams dropping on top of each other in DK. I see a lot of cluster up there by that school Resoc ruins area. We know that they've been going to the ruins quite a bit, so I'm wondering how many of these teams are going to go ahead and hurry to rotate down to that military. You know that they like to line up along that coastline, and we know already that they are already scouting for those hovercrafts.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to do a lot of scouting at this stage, I would say. So I'm curious just how the teams are going to look to push through. Will we get some early fights? Are the teams going to try and maybe play for that military island? I mean, you said that I like it, and you're 100% correct. I love it when the map goes in that direction. It does bring quite a bit of carnage along with it. But who are going to be the teams to start it off for us, right? That will be the big question. I did see someone in the chat asking why Wolves have been having a bit of a tough time. That is a good question. I can't really answer it, but if you talk about a tough time being 5th place, then I don't want to see what a good time looks like.
I see that JP does look like they're already going down to that island, and they did have wolves hot on their trail, but it looks like wolves are going to take the north side compound of that east bridge and maybe start gatekeeping for some of those early points.
Well, let's see who's going to be able to get it, though. Straight out of Nepal. I like the setup here for them. Right onto the bridge. It's going to be quite a bit of a controlling angle for them to try and utilize. But can they make that flex happen? Because we did see the Wolves also coming through with quite an aggressive push into this angle as well. So it's going to be some pretty high stakes plays to see who will be controlling at least the northern side of the bridge. JP, though, they've made it all the way to Novorepnoye, so a decent starting point for them. We can see up in South George as well, we've got Game On and Team Liquid. So, yeah, curious who's going to be making the biggest splash up on towards that side. Meanwhile, Rozok, School, Ruin, Sunken City, we have a few squads around, but nothing too crazy. I like the fact that we are seeing quite a few rotations coming through, so we could have teams really start to bump a few heads.
Yeah, I see Team Liquid. They are headed straight for Team Salami, CP9, Zero Mercy. They've got all those teams right in front of them. So Team Liquid is going to have a rough time trying to get into that zone. And Alpha 7 up there at that northern side, they're going to run right into VRZ. So I see another fight maybe happening up at that north side as well.
Yeah. I see there's a lot of opportunities, but now who will be the one to lock it in? Zero Mercy. We've already seen a winner chicken dinner come through on their end. So for today, I don't think they have to stress too much. Of course, they can always play for just some bragging rights, right? Making sure that they can finish with as many points as they can find out here. But, you know, starting the day off in 9th position, it's not a bad spot to be. So let's see if they can bag even more. They've got 79 points to show and quite a few eliminations and placement points to accompany that. So, yeah, let's see what these teams will make of it. Meanwhile, it's going to be VRZ, though. Also, I think quite a contentious team here. First day, they were a little bit quiet, not doing too much, right? Trying to kind of get a good read on what the lobby is bringing. But I believe moving into day 2, especially even yesterday, we did see VRZ showing a lot more survivability and making it into those far later stages of the games.
But they do have Alpha 7 hot on their trail, so it does look like VRZ and Alpha 7 are both on that same rotation, so we're gonna have to see what's happening there.
Yeah, well, we failed to fetch some JSON files. So, yeah, luckily there's no Jason in this game here. Nobody called Jason. So we don't have to go fetch Jason because Jason never signed up in the first place. Well, at least not a player with the, you know, maybe their action name might be there, so we don't know. So Jason, if you're here, if you can hear us, I think your mom's looking for you. Please go to the info desk. They're really worried about you. Now that all the announcements have been taken care of, let's see where CP9 is going to go. Of course, it is right up into the power plant. Up they come. Jason, please, your mom's looking for you, bro. You got to hurry up. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting play, though, because, again, right, we have a few teams looking to get themselves situated over on towards that eastern side, towards the north of the waterway. But I like what is happening down on the Millie Island, right? So it's going to be absolute chaos if the zone decides to go north, because then everybody who's south now needs to relocate and get themselves somewhere else. And those bridges are going to be prime positions for carnage.
Right, and we can see that we've got 4 or 5 teams already down on that island, and we do have that cluster started at that north side of the east bridge. So we still have wolves set up in that compound, and I thought that's what the wolves were thinking of doing, and it looks like that's what they've done. We still have Alpha 7 way over on the east. Oh, what a way to get your car stuck, Storm. That is never a good thing. Out in the middle of the field decay.
I mean, it's not even 2 big mounds, right? It's just 2 little itty bitty mounds, little tiny things. But you know what? Expect weird things to happen sometimes. So, you know, well done. I think that deserves a round of applause, right? So we'll do a round of applause for quite an exciting way of getting your vehicle stuck here. But speaking about exciting, I'm curious as to what action is going to have for us. Of course, getting themselves situated down south. Luna, though, going for Lipovka. That is a very interesting location to go for. Maybe they felt like, you know what? We need a little bit more loot. We need to see if we can find a hovercraft to come through with a crazy rotation, because we are going to have to go towards that Millie Island. And Green, I think that there is an opportunity. Maybe a slight little chance that we could have that bridge being center zone.
Well, look at all that. I think we're going to center up around that observatory. We've been seeing a lot of side of hills lately. I remember when Luna had to push up the hill in that Erangel match, and then we also had that Miramar match where all the teams were trying to get up that side of the cliff over towards that northeast side of Leones. So it seems like this is an uphill battle for these players as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is figurative and sometimes even literal, as we can see. That radio tower is going to be smack dab center. So if you want a decent angle, that is definitely where you could look to get yourself situated. So now it is going to be go time for a lot of our squads. Still a few out in the blue. iNCO, yeah. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe they forgot that the blue is a thing and they just out there looking for some loot, or something is cooking over there. Curious as to when they will decide to join us up in towards the zone. Meanwhile, Game On also slowly getting their game on as they are approaching that western bridge. But it is going to be a very contested bridge to try and cross, especially with Action and Zero Mercy already taking occupancy. Not quite sure if Game On is going to be able to get across the way. Team Salame, though, on the opposite side, they are going to be coming in hot behind Luna. So I think it's good to see that Luna did, in fact, decide to find themselves a vehicle to cross the water. But now, where are they going to move to?
Right, there's I do see that they could come in around that Novo spot, but they're going to come in right between 9Z and CP9 is already there as well. So Luna, even if they do have those hovercrafts, it's going to be really difficult to come right up onto that shore. So it'll be interesting to see how they come down, which part of the military base is going to land on. They definitely have to land on it, though. And I do see iNCO still up in that Yasnaya area. We also have Game On. Oh, there goes Game On out to Zero Mercy. Zero Mercy up to 4 eliminations, and 2 were not.
Yep, Game On getting a game over sent their way. Now it's going to be Alpha 7 trying to climb the hill. Not quite sure what Carrillo is doing over there, but maybe they can find a way to get out of dodge. It is going to be a tough play, though, here for Luna, as JP is going to be locking down the edge of the zone. We can see another team also rotating up right behind them. So Luna might not be the only ones looking to push in from the eastern side. A very tough call here that they had to try and make. But let's see, will they get it though? Alpha 7 also going to be coming in on towards JP. So if JP wants to hold on to the container yard here, they will have to do quite a bit of work. But I like the spread here from JP. Aritmo coming through with a nice bit of elevation, a nice off angle. But you got to watch those sprays, right? Usually if you can see someone, there's a very good chance that someone else has the angles on you. Aritmo getting down to almost no health whatsoever, literally running on fumes. But it is going to be now Action and the rest of the lobby starting to look to condense their positioning, getting further and further up towards the zone. VRZ still having quite a bit of a way to go, not yet making up into any kind of safety. And 6-9 again having a very challenging start to the day.
And I see that CP9 and 9Z are in that fight right over there with Team Salame right on that eastern edge, and they still have to move in. We are still centering up around that observatory. BRZ up on that point by that Milta Power Peninsula, that southern point. I see a fight there. Alpha 7. Oh, we've got fights going off everywhere. We did not get those early fights, but now they are all crushing in because now we are in phase 3 and they know that they've only got minutes to get in, figure out where they want to call home for these later stages because the blue does not play.
Yeah, I mean, Big Bad Blue Zone is called the Big Bad Blue Zone for a very good reason. And of course, Carrillo, yeah, missed the boat, right? That's what happened over here. So unfortunate to see Carrillo will have to now stay out in the blue. We do say goodbye to Luna as well, as they couldn't really find a good secure point to come to shore here. CP9, I like that position that they have. A little bit further up in towards the zone could definitely buy them a bit of an opportunity here, but they are quite spread out, right? So for Trigger, would have loved to see a little bit more reinforcements here, but it is going to be JP Esports that will now be pushing up, looking to close this one out. Cody is going to go down, slowly bleeding out. Trigger not being able to do anything at this point. But again, you got to be careful because the Wolves are in a position to maybe seal that elimination away here. So let's see, can JP get the job done? Will they find the angle? It is going to be Trigger just ducking, diving, and dodging their way through the windows, but it is going to be Felipe that will be ending the run. It is game, set, match for them. Down to the final 14 we go. But the pressure green is just going to continue to increase here.
Yep, and these are the teams, DK, on that bottom right-hand side that we have been saying they need these points. And we got a nice donut zone, but we've got a lot of these teams. iNCO, it looks like they went all the way over to that western bridge, and they are still fighting the zone going to that southern side. And if they go to that southern side, they're going to run into the teams like 9Z that are already down on that southern side and TGAMES.
Well, Zero Mercy won't have to worry about running into anybody as they get taken out, and back to the lobby it is with them. Now, 11 squads remain. I think Zero are going to be quite happy with the fact that they don't have to continue to keep battling that blue as they got the quickest ticket out of here. But now, TGAMES, of course, going to try and hold on to at least a little bit of a position over on towards the more centered zone here. But again, this is where you got to be very, very careful because especially looking at straight out in NEPAL, right? That elevation they have could definitely come in clutch. But speaking about clutch, look at Storm just going to work, finding head after head and being quite savage with this team as he sends them away. Now, 10 remain. We've hit the top 10. You can see everybody sitting with eliminations on board, but it is going to be Faction looking pretty bruised at this point.
Yeah, I see that we've got a lot of those teams coming up the hill out of Novo, and it's Wolves and Alpha 7, the two teams that are coming out of Novo, going up that side on that east side. But over on that north side, we've got Savage getting ready to find the likes of Action Esports, Team Liquid coming down, and Faction Brazil are stuck on that bridge by Team Liquid.
Well, let's see now who's going to get the jump on who. It is going to be 9Z looking to feel that sting. They also run over one of the players from the side of iNCO. Now it's going to be a remix coming through with that hovercraft. Cole here. Ooh, now going to be the last one left for the squad. Can Cole clutch this one out? Can they repeat that play that we saw over on Miramar? Nope. Cole can't because Cole was looking in the wrong direction. So a slight little breakup in the comms there. Very unfortunate for them. Wolves also finding themselves quite exposed. Are going to be tanking a little bit of blue, but they've got two players already within the zone. That is going to be, of course, Doran and Coops here. Let's see, can they maybe pull a little bit of a something? The rest of the squad just very battered. As you can see, they lose their third player. Second player, rather. First, yes, they are down to 3. There we go. Math, difficult at this point of the day. But anyway, let's see where this next phase is going to be taking us as it moves. And this is now the opportunity for TGAMES, Faction, as well as Team Liquid to see if they can lock the zone down. Straight out of NEPAL, though, Green. They are going to pose a bit of a problem here, rather, for the side of TGAMES.
Yes, because they have that uphill advantage. They've got sight lines on top of almost all these teams. But look at Wolves. Wolves are coming up and around right over onto A7, and I think they just drove right past them. They are so close to that solo from A7 that's still remaining. So we have got all these teams that are wanting this sight line from straight out of NEPAL.
Yeah, let's see again. Straight out of NEPAL, hold on to this one, or will they have to relinquish control? Of course, they can just move up to the edge, as we can see Wolf doing right there, just barely within the zone. And of course, the quickest way off the side of this mountain is to just yeet your car over. But unfortunately, it's going to be Blaze going in the opposite direction. It's going to try and see if they can maybe find Alpha 7 here. Again, just looking to make sure that there is a safe rotation, or at least a safe drop path, right, to get over the side. iNCO, in the meantime, are going to be looking to go for pretty close to center. So this is a very bold angle that they choose to take. But let's see, can they make something happen over here? 7-8 yet to find a few of those eliminations. It was only Vitali and Bruno that has been contributing the aggression so far. But let's see now. It is going to be straight on a ball, starting to move up. I'm curious as to what Guizhou is going to do here, right? Fortunately for Guizhou, they've not been spotted yet. So they could still be maybe a bit of an angle to try and utilize. Now, straight out on a ball, sending out the utilities, trying to see, can they find the Wolves down below? This could be a phenomenal play coming through from Blaze, but can they lock it in again? Ooh, the hits are on. That is going to be Higors getting found. Now, it is down to Doran. And, of course, Koops to see, can they survive it? Those nades getting real scary close. But fortunately for them, though, Blaze not finding that follow-up.
And we still have Alpha 7 coming up right behind Straight Out of Nepal, which could put a damper on this Straight Out of Nepal sight line from above if he comes in and takes over. As Straight Out of Nepal seems to have tunnel vision, and I'm really worried about this play by A7 coming up right on top of him. I hope that Straight Out of Nepal is paying attention, not getting that tunnel vision. We've talked about this a few times through this league, that we've noticed that these teams are doing a really good job keeping their 360 awareness going.
Yeah, I mean, but tunnel vision is not really something that you can afford at this point, so maybe go back to the shop and ask for a refund, because you need to have your wits about you. As you can see, Lennox now sending out a few beautiful nades here. Guaizo just utilizing that high ground against players from Straight Out of Nepal. And of course, now they are down to only a duo here, but they still have the opportunity to maybe bring Oliver back into the fight. Of course, Faction are going to look to keep them at base, sending out all the utilities they can find, but the Wolf and P3, they're going to have to get away across that angle. They need to secure the compound because they are also not yet within the zone.
Yeah, I see that our zone is still shifting, and we are still going out to that middle of nowhere. We don't really have compounds that much over here, but we've got a lot of crevices. We've got a lot of terrain to work with on this side, but we have to pay attention because we still have 9 teams and 19 players in here, so we got to keep our eyes on every direction.
It's going to be a tough one, though. So now, Alpha 7, Guaizo finding the alternate way down the mountain. Slow little hop, skip, and a jump. But of course, Team Liquid has spotted them out, so not as stealthy as they would have hoped to be. Straight Out of Nepal, though, is going to rotate right into a grenade as Faction looks to lock it down. JP instead will get shipped out, and off they go. Now it is going to be a full send, and that is a quick way to get yourself secured, as Faction now follow Alpha 7 to make that trip back to the lobby. Wolves, though, still holding steady. They got 5 eliminations, but only 2 remaining hopefuls. Fortunately for the Wolves, they don't have to worry about Straight Out of Nepal sending all those grenades down to them. But let's see whether or not Pedrin and the rest of TGAMES can now get that southern edge of zone. Because they have the numbers here, Green, but the pressure is going to come on how they look to utilize the positions they have.
I really like the placement of where, look at that. We've got Team Liquid right there in the center of zone. They are set up. We've got a couple of roads going right through this. We've got 2 roads and that compound that Team Liquid is already set up in. And so now everybody does have to push across those roads, up the hills, and into Team Liquid.
But I want to see here, though, is for Team Liquid to have some kind of angle on the ridges as well, right? Because, I mean, yes, the compounds are good, but if all the other teams now move down to the road that we can see cutting through, causing those hillsides, how are they going to look to defend against that? Because they can only see so far, right? So they're going to have to find a way to gather that information, especially now with the zone that is going to be closing in. It could still swing either which way. I mean, if it goes to that western front, it is going to spell quite a bit of trouble here for them. But we are a few moments away. Team Liquid already anticipating some kind of move. They have to bring their numbers back. They are the only squad currently left with 4. But can they rescue Storm before it is too late?
Yeah, I see that they are all trying to get along that ridge line right next to that road, and you can see that Action does have those eyes right across the street onto TGAMES. So when if TGAMES has to come across that street, they are going to have to go through Wolves and Action. And look, the street, DK, the street is still center zone.
Yeah, this is again just what I was talking about for Team Liquid, right? Now that strong position they had becomes quite a bit of a problem for them because so many squads can look to either set up in that ditch or just blaze their way from across the angle here. So it's going to be a pretty tough spot now to try and kind of recover a little bit of territory. Fortunately, though, for them, TGAMES on the opposing side is going to now cause a few problems for Action as they've been spotted out again, just hugging the ridges, trying to play the angles. TGAMES, they have company. Yes, they can see Action, but they can't spot iNCO. And again, it's those ridges that I was mentioning, right? It is proving to be quite challenging. But now let's see if Team Liquid can maybe bounce back out of this one. They are going to look to contest onto the side of Action, at least clearing up that western side. But then comes the difficult part. How are they going to rotate into this next phase?
Yeah, Oh, Mythic just missing that nade. Down to about 20 HP. The answer from Action. But we do have Chief up on this roof. If Action wants to come up and over that ridge line, we got Chief ready for it. And so now Mythic going down, though. That does not help Team Liquid. They are still in zone, and our zone is still right around this. Ooh, it looks like Action has decided to come up and across the road. That is not what I expected. But now they are pushing up onto iNCO, and here comes the nades. We know these nades have been so on point this whole tournament.
Yeah, it definitely has been, but let's see who can lock it in now. TGAMES will have quite a few answers to get going here. As you can see, the utility is starting to fly up here. I like what Action is doing, taking themselves out of that pressure point, moving up into something that provides them a lot more coverage. But again, right, a lot more cover doesn't necessarily mean it's going to become any easier because Team Liquid still being quite mobile. You can see quite a few squads still holding on that southern side, right, with Wolves and TGAMES holding. Action don't have any security just yet. But Team Liquid, they are in a very similar position. Fortunately for Liquid, though, the zone has pulled up towards the north. But again, Liquid has no info on that ridge. They need to figure out who is coming and when.
It looks like Storm is over here getting those sights. As long as he doesn't overextend over that ridge line and get himself knocked, the rest of his team can figure out where the rest of these players are, because it looks like Team Liquid is on the right side of the road and the other three teams have to go across that road. And there goes the Wolves out in fourth place with 7 eliminations. But at least they're going out with some placement points too.
Yep, at least they are. And now it's going to be across the valley fighting coming through here. It is going to be TGAMES starting to rush on up. And again, this is now that ridge getting utilized. Let's see whether or not they can close this one out. Meanwhile, Action trying to ride up the angle. It is a 2v4. The odds definitely stacked against Action, but this is them now trying to play for that placement as well. Already 8 eliminations to their name. Now let's see, can they bag the points to go along with it? They've been able to reduce Team Liquid down to 3. Slowly but surely breaking those atoms down, looking for more and more angles to utilize. And I gotta say, the 2Ps coming through here from Action looking pretty decent, even though the utilities are flying right up to greet them. But now, Chief, Storm, Mythic, they're going to have to lock it up. They have quite a controlling angle. Can they make it work, though? They are smack dab center zone. They know that Action has to come to them. But are the reflexes there?
A 2v4 or 2v3 against Team Liquid, who have already got almost the exact same points. So Team Liquid are pretty confident that they're going to be able to push up and in. They're using these ridge lines so beautiful, making sure that they stay out of sight lines. But now here comes Hyde. Oh, and Hyde is found for Lippe. The last one, and there it is, Team Liquid.
Yeah, well done to Team Liquid. They came really, really close to being in trouble. But at least they managed to hold on. We did see them starting off with a 7-point deficit behind Action. And with this kind of performance, this could definitely be the opportunity they were looking for to try and close that gap. So a phenomenal play coming through from both Action and Team Liquid as they both stepped it up and brought it all to the foreground. I'm happy to see that Liquid was at least able to kind of manage that ridgeline, right? Especially with that blessing coming through in the form of the zone shifting up to the north. Had that zone gone to the south, I think the situation would have been completely different. But you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Team Liquid getting a very hard-earned winner chicken dinner.
I was really impressed by the 2-2 split that Action decided to take for that road, but it just did not work in their favor when they got found by, was it TGAMES?
Yeah, I think it was TGAMES.
And here we are, the winners, Team Liquid Chief with 5 eliminations. And look at the usage of grenades. DK, we have seen usage. Look at the numbers here. We've got 15, is that it? 15 grenades, and we've seen some of these teams with less than 5. So it really big difference. But look at our damage. It's not as much as I would have expected.
Yeah, again, because they were a little bit more hidden up on the compound, right? Not necessarily being in the line of sight of all the engagements happening across the way. So that does kind of make sense why we can see the elimination count and the damage counter sitting where it's sitting. But Team Liquid, though, are going to be walking away with a glorious 19 points here. Action coming through with 15. Wolves, though, doubling down with 11. And after that, we can see the points continuing to drop further and further down. Savage, CP9, Luna, 6-9, and Game On getting nothing but bubbles for the first match of the day. Again, a very tough start to the action here, but I think it's going to get shaken up a bit more as we step into game number 2, because Group E are going to join us on the battlefield as well. And with that, of course, is going to be even more pressure.
Yes, because Group E has Influence, Rage, but we also have Dauntless, and I really want to see Dauntless step it up today. I want to see what we know they're capable of. We already know that Resilience and Almost There have been hot this whole league stage, but we need to see some from Dauntless.
Yeah, we definitely have to see something come through. So hopefully they come out of the gate, you know, just running, coming in with an absolutely strong play. But of course, only time will tell. What we do know is Team Liquid was able to cook it up there with 9 eliminations and 19 total points for the first match. And of course, our second to last Erangel for the day, right? So we are going into our second to last Miramar. And after that, it's the last round for each of our maps in this rotation to see how are the teams going to look to compete? How are they going to look to try and secure the points? But so far, it's been pretty sweaty, right? The zone throwing quite a few challenges at the squads. So it's all going to come down to who can survive it, right? Because that's just the way it works.
Yep, and then some of these teams, they are just finishing their last matches in this, and we got teams that really need these points. So hopefully we're gonna see a lot more. I do think that the beginning of this of tonight, we've seen a lot more strategy, a lot more rotation, and a lot more combat. You know, we've seen it slow down a little bit from the last 3 days, but let's see what's gonna happen in these next 4 matches.
Yeah, of course, as we know, at least 4 of the groups, they've played their first match of the day. So we are yet to see the 5th group step in and show us what they can bring forward here. But it is going to be Group D that will be sitting it out for this next match. So that means for teams like Luna, Liquid, Game On, Savage, and VRZ, they are going to be having a bit of a break. So hopefully they get rested well enough to come back even stronger once we join back with them over on towards Rondo. But yeah, for the time being, it's just us waiting to see exactly what will come through once we head over in towards Miramar. So if you're watching, you've got any predictions, any thoughts as to what you think might be happening as we head into game number 2, be sure to let us know. Give us a prediction in the chat. But yeah, we are going to be heading into that break momentarily to see exactly who will be stepping up, who will be shaking too many tables, and of course, who will be taking names, maybe not numbers, with them as they head on back to that lobby.
Let's just hope that they take a lot of numbers before they head back to that lobby. That's what I really want to see. I really want to see a lot of numbers, especially from these teams that are on that lower right-hand corner. I really want to see some big plays today.
Yep, that's what we are hoping to have here. But of course, it does seem like we're just waiting to find out if we're heading straight into the match or if we're heading into a break. Of course, only time will tell, and it is as much a surprise to you as it is to us because we kind of find out at the same time. And of course, here is the answer. It is break time, so let's head into the break before we come back with match number next.
Welcome back, everyone, to the America's Challengers PUBG Mobile. This is our second match of the final day of the Continental League. DK, what do you see? I see a lot of 100 plus.
Yeah, a lot of teams have joined on that table, but Action, they've moved all the way from 7th up into 3rd place. Team Liquid, though, moving from 8th up into 6th. So slight movement coming through, nothing too overly aggressive. But I'm curious as to how the teams are going to look to respond to this, because as we know, the pressure is going to be on, right? The teams have all the power in their hands. They're going to have to bring everything to the foreground, especially now that we have 7 teams that have hit the century. 9Z, pretty close to that. So again, just 3 points is what they need to catch up. And it's getting tougher and tougher. I mean, even looking at how far the points extend, right, all the way down to 19th place, is sitting on 53 points. Then when we get to 20th, it's going to be 34 points. So there is quite a bit of a drop-off. I would say that's a, 21-point drop, almost 19 points. So a slight little bit of a difference between them there. So if 6-9 and CP9 want to do something, they're going to have to do it really quickly, because as we know, we are having another group joining us out on the battlefield. So with that comes even more increased pressure, right? So Influence Rage are going to be stepping up here. We've got quite a few squads looking to shake up as many tables here as they can. I'm seeing names here, and I'm pretty sure that these are not the teams who are supposed to be over in Group E. So we have Influence Rage and a few others. They're not going to be stepping in. We'll find out soon exactly who's going to be looking to make all the action happen. But if you've not yet dropped the predictions in the chat, let us know. Who do you think will be taking home that winner chicken dinner for game number 2? Of course, we are going to be heading straight over in towards Miramar, and we should be heading into that game momentarily. But yeah, it is almost go time for us. Green, what do you think we are going to be looking at when we hit that zone? Is it going to go back into Los Leones like it has for the past few Miramars? Or do you think things might maybe change?
Oh, I would like to see it move off of the Leones. We do get a lot of chaos down in Leones with all of the teams pushing right up into that urban area. We see teams stacking up. They are neighbors right across the street. We have teams in the same building on different floors, but then they all have to push out across wide open spaces into other teams. And so it'd be interesting for us if we could maybe even get a northwest, or one of the hilltops over down in the southwest. So yeah, I think I would like to see a little more shuffle in our zones this time.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to a bit of a shuffle coming through with regards to that zone, right? You could always have the teams now look to rotate elsewhere, because it's been pretty consistent up into Los Leones, right? So, I mean, it's good consistency. It keeps the teams kind of on track, right? They can continuously try and kind of find a better meta, a better strategy to get themselves situated. But I'm not quite sure if you allow too much of that. I mean, things do become a little bit stale, right? So I want to see the zone go elsewhere. I want to see the zone use any of the other cardinal points on the map. So yeah, I'd love to see a bit of a surprise coming through for the squads, right? Having to have them rather than really utilize those tactics, use those rotations, and play a lot more of a strategic game to get themselves into the zone.
Right, the strategy of setting up on these hills, getting into the ridges, getting into their sight lines. I mean, we do see a lot of these teams on these different layers. We got teams up. We even had teams up on the construction site over in Leones. So, I mean, the layers of sight lines we've been seeing in these Miramar matches has been really interesting. And let's not forget that yesterday we had that uphill. We had the one team at the top of the hill and 3 teams down at the bottom that had to go straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a bit of a challenge, right? Especially when the teams have to try and fight up the mountains, right? Because Wolves, they were holding on to such a strong position there for a good time. But I want to see the teams maybe playing a different kind of arena, right? So we have a whole variety of different kind of terrains as we move into the different regions of the map. That southern side being a lot more similar to Sanok, I would say, in a sense, right? A lot more close quarter engagements become possible. But if we go up towards the north, again, different kind of mountains, right? Different approaches that the squads will have to take to get themselves situated. So I want to see how they're going to look to try and navigate all the challenges that this map has to throw at them. And that's why I want to see the zone go somewhere else, right? Because we've seen what happens when we have that southeastern position, but what happens when we go north? What happens when we go over towards maybe the trailer park, right? Yes, it's a place that doesn't necessarily quite often get a lot of focus, but last time we went to El Pozo, right? Very exciting game that we have happening over there.
Right, El Pozo has the urban, but it also has a lot more space between the buildings, so it's a lot wider, it's a lot flatter. You've got the mountains that go around it, so it is kind of in that bowl. So we do have the Abbey to the north. We've got the ridge lines down at the southern side of El Pozo. We've got also El Pozo can be really tricky if you just one wrong move.
Yeah, one wrong move could spell absolute disaster. But I'm going to be looking at Resilience and, well, Dauntless for this match, because we know they are in Group E, so they are going to be stepping onto the battlefield. I want to see what Dauntless's approach is for today, right? Are they going to try and play a serious game of catch-up here, or what are they going to do, right? You could say the same thing kind of here for Resilience as well. Resilience, they've been showing a lot of resilience when it comes to the map of Miramar, so I'm not too stressed about them. We know that they kind of have it all together, so I want to see, are they going to focus a little bit more on that positioning? Are they going to try and add the placement points on top of the eliminations? Or are they just going to come through with an aggressive focus? Because looking at the distribution that they have, right, 2/3 of their points have come through from eliminations. The other third has come through from placement points. And of course, they were able to get themselves a winner chicken dinner. I believe it was just yesterday. So there is the opportunity for the teams to try and double down. But what are they going to double down on, right? Aggression or strategy? Which one will it be? We'll have to find out.
I really like watching some of these teams doing those edge sweeps though. They just start at one side and they just work clockwise or counterclockwise. We've seen a lot of sweeps that have really paid off for these teams, and we know that some of these top teams like Alpha 7, for example, do a lot of the edge sweeps. Action Esports, and we've got all these. There we go. We are started. So it does look like we started a little late, but here we go, guys. We're all going to catch up together. And Alpha 7 is already out. 6-9 already out. Zero Mercy. Dauntless. Dauntless does have 4 eliminations.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of an issue. I mean, we don't quite know what happened to Alpha 7 and 6-9, but we can assume, based on those eliminations that we can see over on the right-hand side, that a few teams contributed to all of the carnage that we have here. I mean, almost one of the squads that are stepping out onto the battlefield for the first time here today seems like they've been met with nothing but aggression, reduced down to a solo. So that is going to spell a little bit of a troubling time ahead for them in the remainder of this Miramar. But now JP, they could definitely look to get the jump in on the Wolves. The Wolves taking an interesting position though. 2 players over on the edge. Not necessarily going to be looking to get too committed here, but of course we are just on the outskirts of Los Leones. We can see the city in the backdrop there. So JP, good spread, good position, but can they flex that position over onto the Wolves themselves?
I wonder if JP dropped over in Minus Generalis with iNCO. We saw a lot of early fights over there this week. And I do see that JP is at 0, but they are still in it along with iNCO. iNCO does have an elimination, but I believe that was... No, it wasn't. They got the knockover onto Zero Mercy, so I'm not... Ooh, it looks like we are headed to the south, maybe in the zone. Oh, there we go. There we go, DK. We are going down towards that northern side of Bartona. So we have Chumacera and that western industrial edge of Leones.
So a very southern start to this match here. So, I mean, it's not quite Los Leones, but it is still kind of the same territory. So, yeah, I mean, the teams... they know what to do in this region, but of course we are still awaiting a few squads to make their rotation secured. It is going to be Zero and TGAMES all the way up to that far edge side, just out there sipping on some blue juice. So let's see who is going to be the next one to roll on up. Wolf, though, they are going to be encroaching that Chumacera angle, going for that eastern hillside. Definitely an interesting spot. I mean, it is going to be quite controlling down into the rest of the zone. So let's see, can they get it under their possession? In the meanwhile, TGAMES and, of course, Zero still duking it out here. Potato slowly bleeding out. TGAMES, I'm not quite sure what they're doing over here. A lot of damage has gone into their vehicles, but they have to get into zone somehow.
Yeah, they're up there in that northwest side, outside in the blue. And I also see down in that southern side of Los Leones, iNCO and Influence Rage with Dauntless coming up around that edge. Dauntless coming in from that eastern edge, which is not where I expected to see them, but it is working for them, and I'm so happy to see Dauntless with 4 eliminations.
Yep, it's definitely good to see them come through with 4. I'm a little bit worried here for Zero Remorse, right? They've spent, I think, a little bit too much time trying to get that fight with TGAMES, right? And I think it is going to cost them quite dearly. The same for TGAMES. I wouldn't be surprised if you see both teams fall to the blue. They've already expended quite a bit of utility, all those heals that they've used, and now might be a pretty troubling play here for the rest of the match. But now, Influence Rage and iNCO getting involved in a bit of an altercation. Influence going to be looking to leverage the Regis here. Can they make it happen though? Because iNCO, quite mobile, trying to kind of dip their way through this. McGrillen, I like those utilities now getting sent out. But will iNCO be able to bounce back? Again, iNCO just trying to fight from all different angles, but there's so much you have to pay attention to. And I mean, the same goes for INF, right? Also, not necessarily in the strongest position. So it is going to be a troubling angle here if they look to secure this.
Yeah, I also see over towards towards their west from here. We've got straight out of Nepal. We got JP and CP9 all right on top of each other as well. It looks like Influence Rage may be coming up with a devastating nade right on top of iNCO. That nade was such perfection. DK, we have seen so many nades and throwables just to the perfection.
Oh, there we go. Yep, that is going to be the end of the road for iNCO as INF closes it up. Diego walking away with 2 comfortable points there. But now, Influence Rage, they have a little bit of room to wiggle, right? They are now rid of a few points of pressure here. So let's see where they choose to go next. Meanwhile, it's going to be Dauntless firing an explosion onto CP9. As we did see Trigger going up in flames. But is that going to be enough for them to get that elimination point converted? So far, they are on 5, so it is looking pretty hopeful. The CP9, they still have 3 players remaining. Influence, in the meanwhile, just going about their business here, looking to see, can they get some extra loot? Can they get themselves back up into full motion? But now, phase 3, closing up. A minute and a bit of change left here to see exactly where this next phase is going to be taking us. Fortunately, quite a few teams have already committed to that zone.
Yeah, we did see that Dauntless was coming up behind CP9, so I'd like to see where Dauntless and CP9 both decided to go to the southern side of this zone. They wrapped down and around. And TGAMES still in that fight with Zero Mercy out in the blue. They just keep bringing it down to that south, and they're going right along that road, and they are still fighting in the blue.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what is happening here. A few teams making some very odd decisions at this point. Not quite what we were expecting to see coming into our first Miramar for the day. But maybe for Team Salame, there could be a little bit of something on the horizon. They do spot 9Z trying to find their way into the blue, or rather out of the blue. But the zone is going to be pulling just a little bit more towards that eastern side. Not an aggressive shift. Zero Mercy, though, not going to be able to survive as the run is ended. Now, Salame is starting to move up. I think this is a good call. They do have something happening over here as the vehicle just goes wheels up. Now, it's going to be 9C, Gold King, and the rest all just popping off. But Team Salame caught in the crossfires. There's Wolf on the one side, 9Z on the other, and there's nothing they can do to get themselves out of the situation.
Oh, what a terrible position to be in. Sandwiched with your car blown up, wheels faced up. How many times have we talked about the PUBG physics? That even with the PUBG physics, wheels up is not gonna be very good to getting you out of sticky situations like that. And who wants to be stuck between 9Z and the Wolves?
Definitely not Team Salame, right? That's not the kind of sandwich that they were hoping for. But unfortunately, that is the one they've been dealt, as they will now get taken down to, well, a solo. They only have 1 player left. But of course, safe position in the zone for the time being. Now, 9Z looking to see, can they find a bit more? There's going to be Wolves up on the ridge. But yeah, Wolves also taking a rather scattered approach to get themselves into the zone. Again, still playing on that very edge positioning. Maybe this is some strategy they're trying to test out here. I can say this is definitely looking like one they should maybe scratch off, because it's not working out too great. They are losing 2 players so far. And of course, almost there. Now looking to clean it up as Beret comes through with the spray. The hit is on. This is now going to be the send from the Wolves. They are able to bounce back a little, but it has cost them cubes.
Yeah, and they only went out with 1 elimination. Was it worth getting that that final elimination over on the Coops to go out in 13th place. We do see Dauntless back up, though. They are up to 5 eliminations. They are in zone. They do have their place. And, oh, but I do see right on top of them, they've got several teams now. So Dauntless is going to have to fight their way out of that influence. Rage coming up. We do have Faction. We've got CP9 and Action. Oh, coming up right along that side.
Yep. I mean, a lot of pressure now starting to boil over here. Let's see who will be cooking what, as it is going to be 9Z, as you've mentioned, trying to gain a bit of entry. That southwestern side looking pretty tough as well. So, yeah, only time will tell how these teams will look to answer the responses. Meanwhile, we do see the players there from TGAMES getting wrapped up. Down they go. Ooh, 9Z now getting pressured as well. Faction holding nice and steady. So it's going to be a pretty tough one to work your way through. JP, though, playing the range, playing the shots, making quite a bit of noise. Kratos could be in a world of trouble if that nade from Cold King finds its place. You can see Alritmo just getting that feeling that something's coming in behind them. And of course, that is none other than Action, who's looking to get involved in the plays here. Such a difficult zone to try and navigate through. I mean, again, the team's trying everything they can. So many hills to try and be cautious of, but it's not very comforting, I would say, at this point, right? Straight out on the ball, though, they've got a very decent setup in towards that zone. But how will the rest of the teams now look to move through it, as we are almost within stage 6?
Yeah, and you said you wanted to see some of these flatter terrains in Miramar. You did get your wish, DK, but oh, it did lose 9Z out with 4 eliminations. Wolves still up in that northern side. Looks like they're still wrapping. They may be trying to find teamed Salami, but we've got that cluster down still on that southwest side with CP9, Faction, Brazil, and Action. So they're going to have to come out of that compound, and they're all clustered right on top of each other.
Yeah, but I mean, something just feels a bit odd here, right? Like it's, I don't know, I can't really put a finger on it, but something strange is going on in the neighborhood. Maybe I gotta call the Ghostbusters or something, right, to come take care of business. But yeah, it is looking quite, I don't know. It's odd to see how these teams are currently just moving through the zone. I mean, Wolves making some wild decisions here. They have Doran and Higars. They are getting bombarded. It's going to be JP and straight out Nepal, all just honing in on the Wolves. I mean, Doran, the last one left, is going to be trying to survive in this little shack. But look at that. It is INF coming through from the eastern side. It is straight out Nepal coming through from the west. We've got JP applying pressure from the northwest. So, yeah, not the best rotation that we've seen from the Wolves. Maybe by some miraculous way, they'll be able to pull themselves out of this one. In the meantime, it is going to be Dauntless also still contesting for that southern side there. As you can see, Klaus now looking to rejoin back with the rest of the group. CP9 and Faction also pretty stuck in the blue as well. I mean, Action also leaving that spot, now starting to move a bit forward. It's just such an odd game, this one today.
And I do see that. I feel like Klaus and Banger are both getting set up to gatekeep all these teams that are coming out of that southwest side. We've already talked that there are 3 teams right down there: Faction, Brazil, CP9, and Action. And with Dauntless needing some of these points, they're up to 8 eliminations. So gatekeeping the teams coming out from the southwest side is really paying off for them.
I mean, it is paying off. Let's see, can they capitalize? I mean, 8 eliminations, it's looking pretty great, right? That is exactly the kind of play that we need to see more consistently come through from the side of Dauntless. So it does make me hopeful that maybe the winds have changed, have caught up here with the side of the Dauntless squad. but they are yet to find a good rotation in towards the zone. Fortunately for them, the south is not too contested. It is a completely different situation up on towards the western side here, as it is action straight out of Nepal, and of course JP all still vying for position. Everybody wants a slice of the zone, but only a select few teams can claim possession of it. So here we go, action testing the waters. Instead, they are going to be pushing in the direction of Dauntless. So let's see, can Dauntless defend the edge here? They will be tested though, as action tries to come up the side. Banger is down for the time being. Klaus could be greeted with a grenade, as he does have to run back quite a bit, just having to retrace those steps. And once more, we see just why ridges are such a challenging position to try and play off of here.
I see that action is coming right up in between, straight out of Nepal and Dauntless, straight into Wolves. That is not some place that you really want to try to enter the zone, especially down in the southwest side where we've got so many teams just stacked on top of each other, and it feels like the majority of our scopes are pointed right in this direction.
I mean, so far, it's going to be Dauntless holding their own quite well here. Juancho is going to get picked up, but straight out on the ball now, focusing straight into the zone. They will have to keep moving. The pressure will be applied. And now we move into no man's land. A lot of hills, a lot of really difficult positions to take care of at this point. But straight out on the ball, not going to be too phased here. We do say goodbye to Brazilians as they go on down. See, can straight out on the ball, maybe get the spot. See action down to that solo, trying to survive. Action, of course, with only 2 eliminations up. JP sitting with 3. Faction Brazil, though, they've not been able to find anything. They've just been bleeding players. And now that is going to be straight out of Nepal, getting hit. Up comes El Ritmo, trying to get a little bit of something cooking here, but it is instead a P90. That will close the door for them. OUTTA also going to be riding the ridge. Again, you got to be so cautious as to how you push over these sides. Influence, they have it under lockdown. They are super confident. They've done this so many times before, but it is going to be Lorenzen that gets taken on down. The rest of the crew now just doubling in with the efforts here. Law trying to close it up. Prime just holding on the side and essentially almost, is the last hopeful for the side here of JP. So a lot of contention coming through on towards that northern side of the zone. But Dauntless, they are still alive. They are still kicking it. They currently have 11 eliminations up. Can they find more? Green, will this be the comeback of Dauntless?
Oh, I'm hoping so. Dauntless is already in position to get some really strong points. They need these points. But we still have 6 teams in this, and Dauntless is now up to 11 eliminations. Influence Rage up to 8. None of these teams are full 4-man teams. So, Dauntless just lost one going down. Not so can we. Influence Rage did have 4. I misspoke, but we still have a lot of solos in this. So. It's anybody's guess where these solos are going to call the ridges. We do have a lot of hardcover. Look, we have crates, and we know that we see a lot of these players just call these crates home.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the way that you want to do it here, right? But, I mean, sometimes that is your only option. Dauntless, unfortunately, are going to get brought down to 2 players. They can't get that res onto their third, so they will have to make do with what they have remaining in this game. Straight out on the ball, though, is going to look to aggress on them yet again, as we can see them rotating up along that southern side. Klaus is down. Juancho now getting caught out in the open. It's going to be P3 looking for an angle. Blaze again coming through the utilities, sending it over. Juancho definitely needs to back off, because if they come any closer, Blaze will stop it right there for them. Now comes the send. It is going to be straight out of the ball, trying to get right into the action. It is absolute carnage, just unraveling on the southern side of the zone. Wolf coming through with a beautiful hit. And now 1 player remains, and that is the end of the road. Dauntless finishing with 11 eliminations to their name. We do say goodbye to Faction Brazil as well. But that means only one thing, Green. 3 squads left to duke it out for that winner chicken dinner.
An Influence Rage in center zone, uphill, has all these sight lines. I really feel like this is a definite Influence Rage when it's going to take a lot for straight on Nepal. They're going to have to try to split up Influence Rage because they are dominating this center zone. Plus, they have an off angle coming up behind straight out of Nepal.
Let's see now. It is going to be go time. A 1-3-4 play. That's what we have. It is looking quite good, though, if you're Influence already. 10 eliminations up. They still have the full squad. Doran is going to get found out pretty soon. Let's see if Doran can defend. Oh, the answer is surely not. That was a good spray coming through from Diego. That P90 doing its thing. Before we could see a response from Doran, they were already sitting back. Now, it is going to be Law and the rest of the team from Influence looking to see, can they flex those muscles? Can they find the rest of the players from straight out of Nepal? But I mean, especially for straight out of Nepal, this could be quite an interesting turnaround, right? Can they finish strong in this match? We have seen a few of those teams managing to close it out, bring in the points when they need to. Straight out of Nepal, of course, really needing as much as they can find. They started off the game with 59 points, tied with Game On and JP. But so far, it is looking pretty decent here. 3v4 still on the board. Now, straight out of Nepal, 7 eliminations strong. Can they find the final 4 and walk away with that winner chicken dinner and the 11 eliminations that could be accompanying it? Oh, Wolf is going to go down. So maybe this could be the turning point of this match.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but straight on Nepal is working pretty hard to try to get them around, and Influence Rage bringing home that chicken dinner.
Yeah, well played. I mean, the numbers just going with the full distance here. Influence Rage locking it in, securing their second victory, their second winner chicken dinner. So absolutely great stuff coming through on their end, and a very well-deserved winner chicken dinner coming their way. But now, I mean, it's been a pretty tough one, right? Has straight out of Nepal been able to do enough? We did see the 7 eliminations coming through. Of course, they are going to be getting the 6 placement points for second place as well. So that takes us up to, what's that, 13 points. So is 13 points going to be enough for enough of the shift to happen here? Or are they still going to be stuck over on that right side of the page? Of course, we'll have to wait till after the break until we see what the overall rankings are. But yeah, I like what the teams are doing. They are trying to bring in a little bit of a different approach. And speaking about different approaches, let's take a look at that team stats breakdown as we do see all the players here from Influence Rage. 7 eliminations going over to the side of Diego. It's going to be Law coming through with 4. And Diego almost hitting 1,000 damage. So quite a bit of activity on the side here for Influence Rage. So, I mean, you can't fault what they did in this last game. 14 eliminations. That is just going to look to solidify their position at the top of the leaderboard. Alpha 7, they went out super early. We didn't quite see how they went out, but we just know that they didn't make it far into this game. Speaking about which, of course, here are the points. So the 24 points then for Influence Rage. Dauntless, 14. Yeah, let's see if those numbers will add up for them. That should put them on, I believe, 73 points, more or less, give or take 1 or 2. Don't always trust the cost of math because, you know, math is difficult. Straight out of Nepal, though, sitting with 13 points up. We see the Wolves coming through with their own there as well. Zero Mercy, again, capitalizing only on the aggression, locking in those 6 eliminations. 9Z also then doing a similar job coming through with 4. And Team Salame only managing to bag themselves 2 points alongside TGAMES. But unfortunately, CP9 Alpha 7 game on. Yeah, they had a very tough start to this match here.
Yes, but we did see some of the teams down in that lower right-hand corner get some big points. So I'm really hoping that we can get some of these bottom right moving on up. I gotta call out for that green arrow. Let's go.
Well, we'll have to wait a little while to see exactly how many arrows there will be and which way they're pointing. But yeah, only time will tell. So far, the first 2 matches of the day have been quite interesting. But next up, we are going to be prepping for a little bit of that Rondo action. So this is the opportunity for the teams in dire need of points to try and do exactly that, right? To try and lock it down, get aggressive, and not to send all 4 players into one drop location, right? You want to do the 3 or 2-2 split, the 3-1 split, 2-2 split, whichever one, but make sure that you play a slightly more advantageous angle, because we've seen a few squads getting taken out really, really early. So it's not something that is supposed to happen on Rondo. So let's see who will be able to survive into those late stages. But before we get there, we're going to have to take a quick break. So we'll see you back in a short few.
Welcome back, everyone, to the PUBG Mobile America's Challengers DK. Our left side is filling up with 100s. What?
Yeah.
My lower right-hand corner has a lot of yellow lines.
Well, we did see JP at least move up, right? They were in 17th. They are now in 16th position. So up is up. We do see straight out of Nepal also moving all the way from 16th up into 11th place. And then there's not much else coming through with regards to movement, right? Yes, Wolves, they moved up into that third place slot. We did see Influence, of course, swapping places with Alpha 7. So, yeah, it's all going to boil down to who can bring in the biggest change as we approach our final match of, well, final rondo, rather, of the day. Dauntless, though, they've been able to catch up with CP9. So, they were trading behind with quite a bit. So, I like that for Dauntless. But they're going to have to replicate that a few more times for the remainder of the day. At least we know Dauntless, once they come in game 2, they have game 2, 3, 4, and 5 to play. So they have 4 matches back to back. So if they're going to look to do something, it has to happen in this next game, right? Rondo is a golden opportunity for the teams to do exactly that, to try and capitalize on as much carnage as they can find. So that is going to be the thing that I'm going to be looking for, right? Who will be bringing in the most? Who will be looking to change it up? And of course, can we please not have that Miramar again, right? We want action, we want strategy, we want to see the teams do the things they're really good at, right? We want to have that all happen here. So, yeah, I want to see a lot more of that as we head into Rondo.
Yes, but I also want to see less 4v4s in Rondo, those early stages. I want to see 2v2s. I want to see 1v3s with strategy. I want to see one player at one of the recall centers. I want to see thought and process and strategy. I want to see the fights, yes, but I want these teams to get points and recalls. This is Rondo. Recall your team. Get those soldiers back in action.
Well, we'll find out soon enough just who's all going to look to capitalize on that. But I have to agree with you. Like, I would love to see that as well, right? See the teams really bank on as much of the chaos and carnage as they can find here, but do it in a tactful way, right? We want to see the strategies being utilized. But speaking about which, let's hop into Rondo. We are going to be starting on the south, heading to the north. But again, quite over on to the west for this game.
Yeah, we haven't seen this western edge much in this. Even yesterday, I feel like we were all on that eastern side. So it's going to be nice to see some of these teams take some advantage of the northwest side. We have not seen that at all.
Well, only time will tell exactly how these teams are going to look to get themselves situated and spread out. But it is going to be go time here as a few squads are moving down. We do see Tin Long Garden could maybe receiving a little bit of attention over here. And of course, Action and Faction are getting ready for the interaction as they head over to Fongton. So let's see who's going to get Fongton getting functioning as it should. It is going to be a pretty hot spot to play through. I'm expecting a lot of carnage and already Influence Rage coming under fire.
Look at that, and I'm hoping that they didn't drop all 4 man on this team. So TGAMES getting some early points over here. So we I'm just hoping that the 2 teams that are over on that western edge in Funtong, that they are not 4v4 again today, DK. I don't want to see these early teams going out.
Yeah, they want to see that survivability being utilized. But fortunately for Influence, right, that's only 1 player down, so there will still be a lot of opportunities to try and pick themselves back up. Same can be said there for straight out of Nepal. Already 2 players getting hit. Oliver and P3, you got to watch out. You don't want to get traded up here. Instead, you want to do the trading exactly like that. There we go. Well done. So that is Prime now getting taken out of here. Oliver just making good and well sure that that confirmation has been secured. Now, of course, Action, they've already alleviated a lot of the pressure in the surrounding area. But I hope that the 3 eliminations we can see here means one thing, right? That the 4th player has gone for that res, looking to bring the team back into the fight. We still, of course, see 65 players up, so that means that that could very well be happening pretty soon. But again, right, only time will tell.
Yeah, and it looks like our zone is going down to the south this time, DK. I don't think we've been on a southern south or southern first zone, so this is going to be a little different for them.
Yeah, especially when those southern souths start making their way on through. I mean, if it was a northern south, I'd be worried because how, right? My compass doesn't work that way. So we'll see how the teams are going to look to respond. Ooh, we have someone missing again. What does that say? I don't speak Spanish, but sure. At least we can now confirm that Jason has been found, right? Yep. So Jason, good to see that your mom found you. But now let's see who's going to find this. Now starting to just spread themselves out. Law right here up in the business of TGAMES. Ooh, this could be an interesting position to play for, of course, up in the long garden. Going to try and play the roofs. Definitely an interesting position. I mean, we've not really seen the tin long gardens getting used all that much just yet. So especially being on this far southern side of the zone is going to present quite a few exciting challenges to the squads. Alpha 7, you can see Carrillo hanging back, waiting to see if the recall is going to be needed as they now push closer and closer towards Stadium. Meanwhile, it is going to be Savage locking it down there with CP9. Oh, but who will make it out of bamboo? And who will make it to the recall in time?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of solos at some of these recalls that I was really hoping to see. I see a lot of teams, all 4-man, in these cities. I see Faction Brazil all the way to the north. They're going to have to come all the way across that map to come on down and in. Savage and CP9 right there. We got the rotations coming down to the south from Team Liquid.
Well, now it's going to be Team Liquid having to bring in a little bit more than just rotations, right? They're going to have to bring a little bit of that aggression along with it as well. I mean, so far, they've been having a fairly decent start to the day. We did see that upward movement coming through from them. VRZ also now going to be stepping up, looking to see if they can maybe make a little bit of something happen over here. I mean, VRZ is so close to entering the left side of the page, only 2 points away coming into this game. So if they can get the job done here, there could be some interesting things ahead for them. Meanwhile, the Tin Long Garden, not necessarily as action-packed as we would have thought, right? Law is just going to sit there and look to convey a little bit of information. We know the rest of the team is currently elsewhere. So I wonder if we are going to see 2 more players from INF maybe rotating up to here, or is Law just purely waiting to use that recall station?
We know that Law has been MVP. He's got it. He's got the power to take on separate players, but not the full 4-man team. I'm not sure if he's ready because he didn't get a lot of time to pick up some loot, and he may be loot poor. I did not catch what he had as far as gear going, but I do see a lot of these teams that are coming in close. Let's see, where are his teammates? Are they going to come in and join him, or are they just going to go ahead and let him get all that information? I do see, look down there, in that southeast edge, I see INF starting to come up and around, and Little Boy going solo. So maybe Little Boy has decided to be the recall man. So we do have Zero Mercy right behind Luna. So Luna's going to have to watch their back. We do have Carlillo. He is right on that recall center. He's ready for his team to get into a fight. And it looks like his team maybe headed south right into almost there.
Yeah, but I mean, if Carrillo's at a recall, he's at the wrong one because he's in the blue zone, right? He needs to be in the zone. So there we go. Okay. Carrillo getting in a vehicle, off they go. VRZ now going to be feeling a little bit of that tickle come through as we do see the EMP zone now being up in towards the center of the match. So VRZ, Team Liquid, and Dauntless, we're going to see what they can find here. Juancho, though, has been scouting quite far ahead. I don't quite know what that approach is coming through from the side of Dauntless. And of course, our answer to whether or not Law is going to receive some reinforcements, the answer is yes. As you can see, the rest of the team now looking to roll on up. So TGAMES also looking to play a wide split here. They have sent one of their players elsewhere, but now the zone is going to pull the teams back up in towards that northeastern side of the playable area. So there's still some hope for a lot of the squads out of the blue to get themselves situated. Unfortunately, it's only phase number 2. So the blue is going to tickle. It's not going to hurt just yet, but ideally they won't be spending too much time out in the blue itself. So let's see how the teams look to secure these rotations. In the meanwhile, it is going to be Influence Rage now playing a little bit of cleanup here. They did some tag, and there we have it. It is then the players from TGAMES losing one additional player. Now, straight out of Nepal coming through from the far northern approach. Are they going to leave somebody behind for that recall while they focus over onto Luna? Or what will the play be? Instead, actually, they have already used the recall, right? Because see Blaze now coming back. But Luna also caught out with a bit of a spread here. How will they respond? Are they going to look to maybe get out of harm's way? Or will they find the opportunity to bring in a bit of that aggression?
What I really like seeing, DK, is that we're halfway through phase 2 and we still have 18 teams and most of this lobby is still in this. So I feel like we've been a lot smarter this rondo than we saw yet the last few days in this series.
Yeah, teams definitely looking to capitalize on that 3-1 split. But now let's see, can Obscure get the job done? Of course, also right next to a bit of a recall. But Carleo is still running up to this position. So not quite sure, will they be able to make it up in time? Because currently Obscure is facing a little bit of a challenge here. As we can see, FR99 on the opposite end there. Maybe it's pronounced free. I don't know. Me and numbers and names doesn't make sense. But let's see. Here we go. Almost there again, trying to hold on. They do have maybe more than one player left. We don't really know exactly at this point, but it's going to be game on. In the meanwhile, they will be finding the Wolves as both squads now look to get down to business. The shots are flying through. Down goes Bob. Let's see what the rest of game on will bring in as Zoo is going to get hit as well. Now it is all up to Natalia. Oh, this is a troubling play. Again, we see a 4-player engagement. And, well, recalls are still a thing here. So, for Natalio, it's going to be a risky one. Because Faction right here alongside them. So, they can't go for that recall. Instead, it is Faction trying to lock it down. Take possession of it. And this could maybe spell disaster now for game on.
And look at our map now, DK. We've got teams all on top of each other as we are starting to really push them in, and we know that the blue really starts to hurt Rondo. Rondo is forgiving with the recalls, but not when it comes to blue. We know that these teams like to do this edge sweep, but they're gonna have to do it at a much quicker pace here in Rondo.
Yeah, they definitely will have to, and we can see a lot of teams now starting to mobilize. Influence Rage being one of those. JP just ahead of them, so there could be some excitement on the horizon here. Dauntless also trying to get their butts a little bit closer to the edge of zone at the very least. Meanwhile, we do see the shots now continue to rain on down. CP9 looking to defend the position here as Luna comes rolling on up. Oh, here we go. Connections are made. Trigger happy. Jumping over the wall, gets one. 2 players now falling here for the side of Luna. And that is the end of the road as they've ran right into a brick wall. We do see Savage also and JP right alongside. CP9 here straight out of the pole right behind them. So 4 teams all crammed up onto the very edge here, just trying to utilize everything they can find in this compound. But JP is not going to survive as they will instead have to make their way out. Now, Savage, 5 eliminations up, but not out of the woods. Straight out of Nepal can definitely look to close this one up. The same can be said there for CP9, so a very uncomfortable sandwich here now for Savage.
Yeah, but we do have the zone really crushing these teams in on all sorts of sides. Not just there. We got straight out of Nepal over on this side with Savage Esports and almost there, not too far away. And we're up in the northeast side of this, so we know that and look at that. The zone is getting ready to change again. DK, we've got Dauntless coming right up and in on top of VRZ, and I missed the other team, but Dauntless was headed straight for them.
Well, the pressure is on. So far, it does seem like Klaus is looking pretty decent this round, as they are just locking it in. Valek also coming through. VRZ now finding themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. They've got Dreamzy and Fernandes, the final two here, trying to see can they pull it out. Is Klaus. Dauntless now having to rotate up, and of course the position now getting leveraged against them. Up comes Juancho. Can he find it? A spray down just ripping into the side of his vehicle. But that is not going to be enough to deter Dauntless here. As you can see, Valek coming through a beautiful hit. Now it's up to Dreamy. Can Dreamy survive? The blue is going to come in. This will make things a little bit more complicated, but here we have it. Dauntless, though. Oh, trying to taunt their way through this, but instead paying the toll as the blue helps them get knocked on down. Juancho almost about to get rezzed up. Let's see whether or not the rest of Dauntless can get the job done. Klaus, Valek on the edge. It's still such a vulnerable position with Dreamzy right there on the side.
And it looks like now over on this northwest side, outside of zone, we've got wolves coming right up and in onto Zero Mercy in this gap. I think I called it the dragon's teeth the other day because that's what it reminded me of. But we have seen some strong plays in this gap. We've seen teams be able to hold off several teams coming from different directions, just using the hard cover given and the vehicles.
Well, Dunching is going to be the place to be for the time being. I like where Alpha 7 has decided to go. Again, looking to play for a little bit of that elevation. But again, also we see elevation coming through over on towards the northwestern side. Action now. Ooh, we're having to face reality here, as Rondo is a vast open map. Now they are just getting absolutely peppered with the hits. Influence, Rage now. Just picking them up one after the other. You can see Resilience also starting to rotate up. Almost there. Not going to survive, though. Out they go. Let's see, can Resilience pull through? Diego out in the blue, trying to dance this way and that. Gigante on the opposite side. So 3 teams now looking to fight for the rotational access into the zone. VRZ, out they go. 2 eliminations to show for it. So far, Influence looking pretty strong. 8 eliminations up. Action goes down with 3. Now, Zero Remorse and Wolves up on towards that northwestern side of the zone. It's going to be Coops looking for a little bit of something over here. Inspector, that's inspecting a few things out on the edge of zone. Oh, but down they go. The sprays are in. Inspector now doing their job, getting the hits going.
What a spray onto Coops by Inspector, and we still have Coops in this. We have a chance, but it's just higher. Can he get Coops into that car, get him out of there before Zero Mercy comes up? But we also have Faction Brazil that is coming in from the north side.
So much carnage coming through here. I mean, absolutely chaotic. And Wolves trying everything they can to survive. You can see here goes now just abandoning ship, instead focusing their efforts elsewhere. Influence, Rage also going to be feeling that sting. Diego coming through with a quick response onto 9Z, but 10 eliminations already up for Influence, Rage. Up they come, making it 11, 12. Can they find the whole bag of tricks? Diego goes down. Now it's up to little boy in law. Can they pull it out of here? I mean, so far, CP9 looking pretty good, but not good enough. 14 eliminations for Influence, Rage as CP9 goes down.
We have seen so much from Influence Rage. We've seen so many incredible plays just by Laws himself, not to mention the 3 other players on Influence Rage. Influence Rage has been insane this whole series.
Yeah, they definitely have. But who can try and go the distance? I mean, Influence all the way over on towards that far southeastern side. So not too much of a concern for them currently. But if we look over on towards Faction, they are still trying to find something, right? They don't want to abandon the post just yet. But I think if they go for a zone positioning, it could definitely help them out quite a bit more because they can gatekeep that, right? Play the position down onto the team, trying to get on through. Now, KDC also just on the edge, looking for some way to get their teammate back into the fight. But unfortunately, the answer is going to be no, as Lorenzan gets the sprays in. Out they go. Now, Faction, again, looking to apply the pressure here onto Zero Remorse. Inspector trying to hold the torch, but it does have to put it down as Faction secures the eliminations. 7 to show for this engagement here. But again, the blue is going to start to move up, start nipping at their heels. This could maybe still become quite a bit of a costly decision. And we do see Dauntless also just riding on the edge south of where the fights were breaking out just then.
Yeah, and Zero Mercy. I think they're going to be able to get one of their teammates picked back up, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get into zone. They are right on that edge. And DK, we already know that zone 5, the zone is no longer your friend. You touch it, you burn, so they do have to hurry if they're going to get him in that car and go. Now it looks like XP3 now right on top of Influence Rage, and and it looks like he may be trying to get some of that information, maybe try to take some of those helmets off, as our zone did center. So we got the donut zone, everybody coming up from the angles that they were coming in. So let's see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, let's find out. Now, Alpha 7 looking to see, can they find something to try and leverage here? I mean, we know they possess the gun skills. We know they have the knowledge. But can they make this work? Right? Slight little bit of an elevated position there to try and play from. Does allow them quite a bit of a vantage point. But now comes the pushes. Faction just rushing up here. Straight onto the side of Lennox. Ooh. Or rather, that was Lennox rushing in on Numero. So now it's up to Pixel. Ooh, the nade is out. Is it going to find it? It's really close. Oh, down goes Pixel. Beautiful hit. It is, of course, Storm sealing their fate with a beautiful third-party play here. Now Lennox also going to have to pay the piper as they will get hit on down. Team Liquid sitting with 3 eliminations and only 3 players in this lobby. Is that going to be enough for them to rise to the occasion? Faction Brazil goes out with 8 eliminations to their name. Liquid pushing forward. Alpha 7 holding on the high ground. Not looking to relinquish control whatsoever. But Klaus might have other words for that as the grenades now start to fly on in. This is looking pretty good here for Dauntless. I mean, so far showing up quite aggressively. But will this aggression be enough to carry them forward?
Yeah, but they are pushing up onto Team Liquid, and they've got so many teams at their back. They've got the Wolves, they've got Influence Rage, they've got all these teams right down here on the southern side of zone. It is just so packed with so many teams that mini-map just looks like a gumball machine.
Well, let's see if it is going to be sweet for someone. Or will they get stuck in the gum? Right, we'll find out in a short few moments as the teams now will have to start to send it forward. We are nearing the end of phase number 6 as the blue is about to start to close. Now, as you can see, Influence pretty locked onto Alpha 7 here. Carrillo Obscure might be in for a world of pain. In the meantime, Influence Rage now up to 16 eliminations. Little boy dipping out in the blue. Not quite sure why, but straight out in NEPAL, though. This could be a bit of an opportunity for even more as they have 13 eliminations, 2 squads so far, just capitalizing on the carnage here. I mean, for straight out of NEPAL, this could be exactly that kind of pacing they need to get the points and secure even crazier spot on those rankings. But we'll find out in due course exactly what this map has in store for them. We have 6 teams remaining, and Straight Outta Nepal still has a full team in this match.
Yes, and they don't have very close neighbors. So most of these teams we've already seen are down at the southern side. Straight Outta Nepal has this whole northeast side to themselves, especially after just watching that player from Influence Rage go out to the blue. And we saw XP3 getting into that position, watching the teams rotate out, was able to tell his teammates where they were. But now here comes Team Liquid scouting right up onto Straight Outta Nepal.
Let's see now. Can Straight Outta Nepal respond to the position here? I mean, you got to give it up to Team Liquid. They started with 3 players. They still have 3 players in it. But are they in it to win it? We'll find out. As Straight Outta Nepal now starts to move up. XP3 just testing the waters, taunting the side here of Team Liquid to see can they secure the sprays. But you got to watch out for Wolf going for that off angle. There could definitely be quite a bit of retaliation coming through here. Straight Outta Nepal now starts to push forward. Blaze coming up, gets spotted, but quickly manages to duck back into the shed. Now, Influence moving up on Alpha 7, still not backing down. But where is the other fight going to go, right? Dauntless still cautious, waiting in the wing, trying to buy a little bit of time, waiting for that golden opportunity to apply themselves and rush on forward.
Influence Rage up to 17 eliminations, DK, and they do have the statistics on their side. The statistics just went down to 16%, but they were right there on that edge of the zone. They had that ridge line. They had Alpha 7 just uphill, but they had their team just separated enough to keep Alpha 7 from coming out of that shack.
Well, let's see how this next spot is going to go here. We look at the odds at the top of the screen. It does seem like Straight Outta Nepal has the highest probability with the numbers they have coming into this match, but they don't have zone possession, right? They have a little bit of a slither there, but they are going to be pushing straight forward as they now come rushing over into Influence Rage, and this is going to be quite a bit of an upset. It is going to be Dauntless also looking to get a little bit of magic happening here. The grenades are flying in all directions. Straight Outta Nepal now. This could be that play to help them move forward. Already 13 eliminations up. Good spray there. 14 in the bag. Now it is going to be Influence down to a solo. Team Liquid now using a little bit of downtime here to get that res secured. The sticky bomb coming through as well. Dauntless starting to wake up. They already have 4 eliminations up, but can they get more? 31% chance now swinging in favor here of Dauntless. So if they want to win this match, rather, they're gonna have to deal with Straight Outta Nepal, who of course is gonna get ready to push straight on forward. But first up, it will be Team Liquid looking to play the big upset.
I see that Dauntless is still full, or still has 3 players up. We've got Klaus, Wancho, Valak, and Dauntless has got a 24% chance. Dauntless is in that southern side with A7, with Team Liquid to their north. Straight Outta Nepal over here on this northeastern side. And down to just XP3. XP3 is having a great game, up to 8 eliminations.
Well, let's see who can get it going here, as Storm is on the edge, looking down right in the direction there of Oliver. Straight Outta Nepal now having the floor getting broken down under their feet. But can they make it out? Can XP3 maybe pick it up? Can Blaze find that next position? Dauntless still just tented on the edge of zone, not committing to full sending it just yet, right? They want to get a good read on the situation. But we are down to the final 5. Alpha 7 also just barely holding on. Obscure on high. Carrillo is down on the low ground. Up comes Law. This could be that slam smack coming through from them. Oh, the hits come in. Carrillo goes down, but down goes Law as well. INF out with 17 eliminations, all the way in 5th place. Straight out of Nepal now. They've heard the shots. They know something's cooking. Is this going to be enough, though, for them to bulldoze their way on forward? They don't really have the elevation. They don't have the position, but they do still have the opportunity to surprise. So, Dauntless, let's see. Can they flex this angle here? I mean, good vantage point that they have, but it is still going to be a lot of hard work to get that winner chicken dinner.
Yes, a lot of hard work, but they've got the uphill advantage. They do have Team Liquid down below. They know where Alpha 7 is, straight on Nepal, all the way over on that eastern edge. This could be a chance for Dauntless up on top of the rest of these teams to get some of these points. Oh.
Not if it goes that way. That is not the way to do it. Dauntless now at least still holding on with 2 players. We got Klaus and Valek. Slight little mishap coming through there. It's going to be Alpha 7 still patiently waiting to see what straight out of Nepal's going to be bringing in.
And our zone shifts down to Alpha 7, but look at that, Alpha 7 gets taken out by Dauntless. Let's go, Dauntless, up to 6 eliminations. Let's get you up off that bottom right. Come on, Dauntless. XP3 throwing those nades. XP3 having a beautiful game. Does have Alec right in his sights, DK.
Yeah, I mean, Valek trying to become one with the tree, but unfortunately branched out too early. Right now, it's going to be Team Liquid rushing up onto straight out of Nepal. And this could maybe be the end of the road for XP3. Storm, Chief, up they come. The shots are in, but Chief, gets dropped. Team Liquid goes straight on down. XP3. Now, the last one standing between Dauntless and a winner chicken dinner. It is going to be Klaus, now rather knowing exactly where to go. They know XP3 is just ahead of them. Both team players now looking to engage their stealth mode. A little bit of a jump shot, just trying to ward off the side of straight out of Nepal. But this is a beautiful comeback coming through here for Dauntless. Both players will have to try and patch themselves up. But straight out of Nepal also now hitting 17. XP3 on 10 eliminations as a solo. Insane play. I mean, XP3 has more eliminations than the entirety of Dauntless. So an absolutely crazy showing coming through here. But can Dauntless lock it in? XP3 has no information, doesn't know where to go. It's going to be Klaus just patiently waiting in zone. They know that XP3 has to move in their direction. The utilities come out, but the shots are in. XP3 ends it right there. Dauntless having to settle for 2nd place.
Wow. And DK, XP3, and Klaus were on the same team in PMSL. They were teammates. Oh, what an ending. I held my breath that whole time. I want both of these teams up on that leaderboard. These are NA versus NA at the end of the match. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, having to go up against your teammate right at the end, you only find that out after it's happened, right? Because you don't know. There's no way of knowing who you're going up against, right? So what an interesting showing that was coming through from both Dauntless and, of course, straight out of Nepal. Some insane elimination counts that we saw come into this game. 2 teams finishing with 17 and upwards. So absolutely crazy work being done in this game. But the big question is, how much movement has straight out of Nepal now allowed for themselves? How much movement has Dauntless allowed for themselves with the play of this last match? Because there were 7 points plus the 6 for 2nd place. So that puts them up on 13 points. Now, if you add 13 to what they had, Is it going to move them up all that much? We don't quite know, right? Because math is hard, but we'll wait for somebody with a calculator to work that out for us instead. And of course, we'll get everything confirmed once we see those points later on. But yes, Green, very exciting match. Very challenging moving down to that southern side, right? The Tin Long Garden spot, really difficult to play through.
Yes, and oh, how they played straight out of Nepal. I love seeing the grenade uses. And XP3 Mr. Dak Light with 11 eliminations to himself. So much fight in Straight Outta Nepal. It was beautifully played by Straight Outta Nepal, and I want to see more momentum from Dauntless. It gives me hope, and it was very exciting for me.
Yeah, it definitely was jam-packed with excitement, but it's like XP3 carried the whole entire team, right? Coming through with 1,700 damage, 7 grenades used. I mean, that was a heavy, heavy hand indeed. But yeah, a strong play from Straight Outta Nepal. There's not much that you can fault on that front. But I want to see how their crazy runaway with eliminations compares to the rest of the lobby. That puts them on 18, right? If I do quick math. So 18 eliminations plus a winner chicken dinner awards them 28 total points. So now I want to see where the 17 eliminations from Influence Rage managed to land them.
Influence Rage is just living up to their name, DK. They are still up towards that very first spot, the #1 spot, and that with those 17 extra added, I'm sure that they're still very close to #1.
Well, we'll find out pretty soon. Of course, just awaiting those scores and everything else to appear on the screen. But yeah, it's going to be the match rankings that we are waiting for right now. So that will be revealed right then and there. 28 points going over to Straight Outta Nepal. 20 points going to Influence Rage. Of course, Dauntless picking up 13. So my math checked out. Team Liquid picking up 12. So things are looking pretty good for the top 4 teams. JP, the only team not able to secure themselves any points here. And Luna, unfortunate starting point for them, right? They tried to kind of make it into those later stages, but unfortunately, it didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, they started off way up at that northern edge and had to push all the way down into the zone because our first zone was very far to the south, and there were a lot of heavy teams right in their way.
Well, speaking about in their way, 3 matches out of the way, and we have got 2 more to go. The final Miramar and the final Erangel are going to be making their way onto the screen pretty soon. Straight Outta Nepal, though, yeah, I think we need to add a 1 to that 8 because, yeah, that they got a whole lot of chicken coming through in this last match. So very, very exciting stuff. No surprise to see that all happening over on Rondo. But the big question is, how will the rest of the teams now respond going into the final 2 matches, right? We only have Miramar and Erangel to go, and there's only so much that you can carry over from Rondo into these last 2 games.
Yes, let's wait and see, DK. Let's go to a break, and we will be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the PUBG Mobile America's Challengers DK. We have 2 matches left for this final stage of the Continental stage, the final day of the Continental stage. Look at our leaderboard.
Yeah, it's looking pretty crazy. I mean, we do see Team Liquid moving up all the way from 6th into 4th. We got straight out on NEPAL from 11th up into 9th, joining up on the century there as well. So, yeah, the points really boding quite well for them. The 28 puts them squarely on 100, just entering the triple-digit plays here. Dauntless, they've moved up, right? They're not in 22nd place anymore. They're in 20th. They're making waves.
I love seeing it, and I want to see this momentum carry them for the next 2 matches. We only have 2 matches left, and I feel like Dauntless is on fire tonight. Straight out of NEPAL, on fire. I see so much fire in these teams. And DK, let's head on over to our match. There we go. We are going down to the southwest once again, or maybe not. I don't know.
It's a surprise. It's a surprise, I guess, right? We'll see soon. We'll hopefully jump back into the match. We did see it. It has already started. Not quite sure what's happening. Maybe that was just an April Fool's trick being played. Who knows, right? I don't think it's April Fool's though, because that's passed already, right? We're in October. Yeah. So it's the last day of October though, as well.
No,
almost.
We have Halloween tomorrow. Halloween. All right. Oh, it looks like they restarted. Here we go. Here we go, DK. So we're coming in from the northeast side, a very northern flight path from the ones that we've been seeing. We're coming in from Camp Militar, going to Monte Nuevo.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for our team. So let's see where they're going to drop down. But the big question is, what is that zone going to do, right? Is it going to get magnetically drawn to the south again for yet another round? Or is it going to change its mind and go elsewhere? I mean, I would love to see it go anywhere other than south, right? That would be great. Anywhere other than south. Take us north, take us east, take us west. But please, not lower than Picado, right? Let's go up past Picado. Somewhere else. We don't want to see Los Leones in the zone, but we'll find out as soon as that plane has finished along the flight path.
I'm hoping La Gabaria, El Pozo, but my gut's telling me we might have another southeast zone. Let's hope. El Pozo, La Gabaria, El Pozo, La Gabaria. How's this song? You like this song? It's going to be a top 10.
Yep, you should have added Chumacera in there as well, because that is where we are going. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's still south, so yeah, there's that. But hey, we'll see how the teams are gonna look to respond to this. Maybe the zone changes its mind and pulls up towards Monte, or maybe goes to La Trillera, maybe even Picaro. I don't know. Like, I want to see a little bit more of that flat terrain being played, right? Like Monte Nuevo, into those fields between Monte and Picaro, maybe towards Power Grid, you know, somewhere there where it's really challenging for the teams to play through.
Well, what I'm seeing is we got Dauntless way up in there, the farthest away from zone possible. They are surrounded by 6-9. They've got Luna. They've got Game on. They are all right there on top of them. VRZ not too far away, taking some of those vehicles. So Dauntless not only has to come out of Camp Militar, they've got to make sure that they've got the extra gas tanks. They've got the extra vehicles. They've got the extra med kits in case they really have to go through a lot of these teams to get all the way down into zone.
Well, let's see now. How will they move through this? Who's going to be the ones to get aggressive? Who's going to be the ones to push into the zone itself? But yeah, there's a lot of angles to go for here. We don't see anybody down to that far southern side, so it does look good. But now, again, right. Teams going through the looting phase. We don't see any contention coming through here. But maybe CP9, if they rotate up through Savage, that could be an interesting one. But it does seem like Savage is instead going up to them.
I also see that Influence Rage and iNCO are really close to each other. When they come into zone, they could end up right on top of each other. And Team Liquid is already starting an early rotation down into zone. They could end up on top of them as well.
Well, let's see now. Of course, Wolves just going up through Monte, looking for something here. Not finding much other than loot. I mean, it is surprisingly quiet in everywhere on this map, right? In all the previous days, we've seen the teams getting into some pretty hot and sweaty situations here. We might have something maybe potentially coming through with Resilience down on towards Tumasera itself, right? Already 9Z situated in there. JP again with their usual spot over into Los Leones. I like what OUTTA is doing, moving a little bit further west, trying to see if they can maybe spot a little bit of something. You can see Nanu is also looking to gather some information along the road there. So I like where the scouting is going, but now we got to see that full send. Angles have to get the spots going here.
I also see CP9. They are getting ready to rotate right around Savage Esports, and I feel like Savage Esports was scouting going to that north side, so they may see that rotation by CP9, and they are, if they follow that route around that like we've seen them do before, they're going to end up right there where Almost There is getting ready to lock that edge of zone down.
Also now, still a lot of quietness coming through here. Again, Wolves allowed to do quite a bit of movement, but how will they get to set themselves up in anticipation of all the rotations that are yet to come? We did see a little bit of that truck stop coming into play, and Dauntless having some unsuspected visitors over here as they start to move to the edge here. 6ix9ine getting caught out with their hands in their pockets. Up comes the push. Banger getting one shot in. Already the first confirmation has been secured. In fact, 2 players from 6ix9ine has been taken out. Now it's up to Vitin and HCK to see, can they make a little bit of something maybe come from this unfortunate situation? I mean, they still have a good long way to go, just over 3 kilometers, but there's 2 minutes left before we hit that next phase. So there is still a little bit of an opportunity for them to maybe get out of it and rotate it into safety. The Wolves, in the meantime, will use the quiet and tranquility to get themselves repositioned. Now, we do see the players here from the side of Team Salame also starting to expand their reach. Both squads now spotting each other and choosing to rather disengage. They don't want to get the ball rolling just yet. They want to play for strategic positions. And I think if you leave the Wolves long enough, they could definitely get themselves quite well set up here in Ladriera and Monte Nuevo.
Yeah, there's a pretty empty space right there. They don't have many teams too close to them. They do have Almost There coming in from that north side. Plus the other teams that we were already talking about. Savage may be coming right on top. And CP9. CP9 right here on our screen with Savage behind him. And they are headed straight towards Almost There and Wolves.
Oh, there we go. It is going to be Cantera getting picked up by the Blue. And this is what we're going to be seeing a lot of, right? The team's positioned so far away from zone, not having adequate meds, so they can't keep themselves healthy. Luna going to be picking up a few of those trades as well. Team Salame now looking to contest against Resilience as they move up. Up comes Kratos. Good welcoming shots into Gotti C. Oh, gets them down to 1 more to go as the rest of Salame now starts to move up. Fair trade on either side. Saz trying to do a little bit of that jiggle here as they come pushing forward, getting spotted out. Kratos now trying to recover, but unfortunately got through it. Now Kadu and the rest of the team so far removed from that support. As you can see, the teammate goes down and there's nothing they can do. Molina has been found, but it is going to be Saz still holding on the high ground. Very widespread positions that we see being played here. I mean, the team's shooting at movement, and we can commend that, but there's nothing to back it up.
Yes, these 2-2 splits, even in this early stage, can really pay off sometimes, but they can really be devastating on these teams at the other times. If they do get found by a team, a full team on a 2-2 split, that is not going to help you later stage.
As you know, SALAME looking for a little bit of something, but finds nothing instead. The shots now connecting up to them. Nanu's getting dropped yet again. Now it's going to be an opportunity here for Faction to come through with a bit of a response, a bit of retaliation. Fortunately for them, they've not had to move that far. They dropped up in San Martin, so they've just dipped out of there and already finding themselves another team to aggress on. Wolves starting to patrol the area. I mean, we did see them all the way up in Monte Nuevo. Now they've reached down to the south. They are going over to the west. They're moving in all directions, looking to make sure that there's no surprises coming through in the vicinity. But now maybe down south, they'll be able to find a little bit of something. Game On and iNCO also still on that far southeastern side. So still a lot of teams quite slow with the rotations. Not quite sure what the approach is here. But, I mean, we are heading into those later stages. So especially when stage 3 hits, the damage coming through from the blue is going to go up considerably.
Yes, and we did get a donut zone right in the center, so now we've got Ladrilla, we've got to the south of Power Grid, we've got the ridge lines, we've got the mountains, we've got all sorts of terrain to work with. Over on this western edge, I do see a lot of these teams that are trying to make their way into the zone. So I'm liking that they are coming in a little bit earlier than what we've been seeing.
Let's see now if Dauntless can maybe bring in a little bit of a something here as they come through with their approach. Already, Banger is knocked on down, so not quite sure if they're going to try and bring him back. Meanwhile, INF, Liquid, very close to each other. Let's see, can Liquid do a little bit of something here? They have quite a bit of a vantage point looking through that valley, but not too much coming in from it just yet. Ooh, Mythic exploring quite a bit here. Resilience just over to their side. Meanwhile, Game On, they do find themselves a little bit of that VRZ action along the way, but it's in the blue, and this is going to be very, very costly. I mean, phase 3 is about to hit. The damage is about to go up, and the teams are still struggling to get not only out of the blue, but to get into the zone itself. So there's going to be a golden opportunity for many squads already secured in zone to just rain down absolute carnage. So let's see how this is going to pan out for VRZ. I don't quite know if they'll be able to make it all the way.
Yeah, I don't know, DK. We have 17 teams still in this. All of the teams are represented at this moment. We do have VRZ, another one going down. So VRZ out in the blue, trying to come on in with Game On, and Game On is taking the fight out in the blue with only 30 seconds left of stage 3.
I don't quite know what the play is here. I don't know why they are staying out in the blue so long. VRZ, they've been able to get their only player, their last remaining hopeful, out into the safe area, but not out of the woods just yet. Meanwhile, Team SALAME, they've gone for a slightly more centered up position, so that could maybe buy them a bit of an opportunity. In the meantime, you can see Luna slowly just holding on the edge of zone. Again, not necessarily committing to it too much, but with Influence Rage walking up to you, you can't really afford to do too much else, right? You have to defend. Meanwhile, Savage on that far side playing a very scattered approach here. They've got Pixel Goat on the front line, trying to contest and press forward onto CP9, but they are going to get found. The rest of the team not here fast enough. We can see that shot that is going to come through momentarily. There it is. So the hit is in. Now the rest of the team rolls up, but already finding themselves at quite a bit of a deficit. So Savage, they're gonna try and maybe pull through this one, but Numero getting spotted, gets a hit, and almost runs straight into the side of the next spray. Oh, this is a very costly engagement for both squads. CP9 rather, and Savage both now with a 1v1. It is going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a moment of breath here as both teams try to pick themselves back up, but I've gone to send. It's going to be CP9 prioritizing the carnage. It's going to be such a difficult one to decide on because look at this, CP9 trying everything they can. Savage right there also abandoning the res, and this is going to be dire for one of these teams.
Yeah, he has nothing to lose at this point because there are 3 players knocked. He knows that the the solo still remaining does have quite a bit of damage onto him, but SVG was able to get his health kit back up and get his health back up. Oh, and Savage will be able to get 2 of his players back up.
Well, here we go. iNCO also now trying to play a little bit of that blue zone positioning as they've spotted almost there. They got the first knock. Can they get the next one? 6-9 goes down. Bray on the edge. The last one left. iNCO playing a very opportunistic approach here, trying to capitalize on those slower rotations. But they're going to have to be quick about it because Savage coming in as well. So this could also be even more pressure now onto almost there. That solo not going to make it through it, and out they go. Meanwhile, INF, they are just chilling like it's another Tuesday as they have a decent spot over on towards the eastern side, just outside of the zone. But how will they roll up? We can see the players there from Game On also now starting to rotate up as well, moving forward. It was interesting. We did see quite a bit of scouting earlier, but none of that scouting really resulted into much.
No, a lot of these scouts just seem like they went back to their teams, or they just, I don't know, Decade. We are so used to seeing all these edge sweeps, and we're not even seeing that so much this match. I'm not sure why we seem to have so many different types of plays today. I know the VOD reviews told them what to kind of expect after the 3 days, but this is not what I expected to see after the 3 days.
Yeah, it is slightly, oh, not slightly, it is it's vastly different from what I was expecting these teams would be doing on the final opportunity to get this point secured. Team Liquid, though, also facing a bit of a challenge here as they are just caught on the edge of zone. It is going to be Influence Rage now also continuing to push forward. JP just ahead of them as well. And here we have it. Looking to see how Influence is going to look to play this one. I mean, again, taking quite a bit of a beating from the blue. Now, moving out, Dauntless is getting left in the blue. They are also not going to make it out of it in one piece. Faction just on the edge, looking to gatekeep. This is the kind of position that I'm expecting to see here. But let's see, can Faction make this one work out? Such a reach around them, right? So many angles they can look to get covered over here. We do see Dauntless, of course, bleeding out, losing their health to the blue. Klaus, the last one left, also going to be trying to fight from within the blue zone. Oh, a very troubling position happening here.
Yes, and I do not like seeing that they've waited so late to come into the zone. A lot of these times we know that we at least have an anchor into zone, but now I think that they are getting gate kept much more often than what we've been seeing. And so I'm hoping that at least Klaus is the last one still standing. Hopefully he can get into the zone, but we do have this massive fight over here, DK, with iNCO Gaming and Savage.
Yeah, Klaus is gone. Klaus has left the building already. As you can see, Dauntless went out with 2 points to their name. Now it's going to be iNCO and Savage fighting for possession over on towards the western edge. We got Game On just holding to their east. Now it's going to be Faction getting pressured by INF. So the shots continuing to ring across this round. But who's going to be the team to find it? I mean, we've been seeing a lot of teams dipping out into the blue to get engagements, right? It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get what is happening in this game here today. But, well, here we go. Savage holding on to the 2-piece. Very isolated. The zone, of course, is going to get ready to move yet again. Resilience now looking to gatekeep. Or instead, rather, Resilience is out of here. It is game on. They will be doing the gatekeeping right there as they await iNCO and Savage to come through with their play. Who's going to be the one to make it out and rotate towards the zone? iNCO now trying to go for the res, but the shots come through. This could be Savage looking to get the slam dunk. Oh, get their bread buttered on both ends, and they do. They get the hit, and that is iNCO out with 3. Savage now up to 9 eliminations.
Look at the leaderboards, though. We've got Influence Rage still in this. We've got the Wolves still in this. We do have Team Liquid in this. We still have a lot of the top of the leaderboard. They are still in here. They're being quiet. We've got Team SALAME right over by the Wolves. Coop's trying to look on down. Is SALAME's taking the shots over here at Luna, pulling up onto them.
Well, let's see if Luna can maybe make something happen here with that northern positioning. I mean, there's nobody to contest for that north. INF, they have the full eastern side. 9Z moving up from the south. Got game on coming just onto that edge there. Let's see how this one is going to play out. Wolves, though, smack dab center. They have 3 eliminations. They've got 3 players, and it's going to be Team Salami that could maybe look to contest them. But Team Liquid, they're going to try and clear out the zone as they know there's somebody ahead of them. But again, the teams are dipping out into the blue. I don't understand why they're doing this. They're just wrapping themselves up and ending the fights before anything can happen. Now it's going to be Influence Rage down to a solo, looking to see what they can do. Can they get that res secured? Yes, they do. And now they can continue to rotate up here. But it is going to be 9Z looking to capitalize on the available opportunity. Meanwhile, Game On are going to be chilling over on towards the edge of zone. Savage trying to bring their numbers back up, looking to go for a full 3-piece again. 9Z now getting hit, but up they come, sending it in. Oh, this could spell disaster for Game On.
Yeah, I love the positioning of the Wolves. They may not get a lot of these eliminations, but I feel like they are well placed into this zone away from the blue. A lot of these teams, I feel like maybe they were trying to get some of these edge sweeps and just didn't get that timing right. I am not sure why we're seeing so many different plays today from normal, but I do like where the Wolves are and Team Salami. The Wolves do have Coops out and around. Doran also on that scouting mission, but they are in zone. They are not out in that blue, wasting their utilities.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole entire lobby decided today, you know what? Let's try and see how long we can stay out in the blue. How long before we actually get into the zone itself, right? Because we've been doing it for all the other matches. Why not change it up on the second to last match right here in the league stage? But let's see, maybe somebody can come to their senses again as the Wolves are still holding up in center zone, looking to play a little bit of elevation here. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. As that is going to be Coops coming through with a spray down. They do find Lawrence in. Let's see whether or not Luna and Team Salami are going to look to do a little bit of something over here. Luna trying to play for that long game, right? Going to try and play for the placement points. But can they secure anything aside from that? They have been able to get 2 eliminations up. They are one of only 2 squads in this lobby remaining with 4 players. Mythic, though, they do find Law, and out they go. That is Influence Rage getting traded up and away. Liquid looking like $1 million right now. Let's see whether or not Game On and 9Z will be able to secure anything. Well, the answer for Game On is an unfortunate no, as their run gets ended quite abruptly. Mythic now getting pushed, as well as 9Z will send it over towards that eastern side. But a lot of strategic angles now looking to get played here.
Yes, especially from Savage up on this southwestern edge. So they have the sight lines now down onto the Wolves and Team Salami. So they do not have anyone at their back. They know that, but I do see a player not too far away from them. And so that player could come up and behind him. That may be 9Z right there. It's right at the edge of the map. I believe he does see him. So it's a possibility that 9Z could ruin this sight line and come in right behind him.
Well, we'll find out very, very soon exactly how this one will play out. Gold King again coming through with the nades. We've seen Gold King on Miramar on match number 4, clutching it out in a 1v4 showdown. Let's see, will that be the name of the game here again today? 9Z looking pretty good though. 5 eliminations up. Strong kind of angle that they have here. They do have a little bit of high ground, but no secure position within the zone just yet. Maybe this off angle over onto the players from Team Liquid could be exactly what they needed to get a little bit more surety. Storm again just holding on the edge. You can see 9Z trying everything to find out which angle to go for to get the jump in. But now Team Liquid not going to look to make it too easy for them, right? Going to keep it in that liquid state, just moving this way and that, dipping and flowing. But at some point, something has to happen as we're about to hit stage number 7. The zone is going to move yet again. It will be centering up onto the players there from Wolves. So this is now the opportunity for the Edge squads to try and wrap it up and get their butts back into safety.
And here comes the fight between 9Z and Team Liquid, but they're going to have to hurry if they want to take this fight because they only have 30 seconds before that zone starts to push them in. And at this stage, we are in stage 7. This zone is going to knock players very fast.
Yeah, that is 11 eliminations already up for Savage. Can they bag even more? It's now going to be 9Z also looking to leverage everything against the side there of Liquid. But so far, Liquid are quite battered, not completely wiped just yet. Team Salame also going to be trying to hold on here. Only 1 elimination to their name. But now it is going to be Savage down to a 2-piece. Can they go for gold? Can they get more than just the 11 eliminations they currently hold on to? You can see not a goat here, just awaiting an angle, smoking it up, making sure that they can't be spotted out just yet. We do say goodbye to Team Liquid as they will get dealt with. Now it is going to be Wolves and 9Z having to push up. Wolves raining down carnage onto them. Remix getting caught out in the open. The trade comes through. Quite a bit of damage, and down they go. Higors coming through for the finish up, but Gold King knows what to do in a very sticky situation. Is going to hold true, hold steady. And 9Z still going to be holding on, just clinging on to a slight slither. Now, up comes Coops, looking for the position here. Wolves still looking pretty strong. 2 players up, Doran and Coops. Up comes Savage. Oh, DBS to the side there. And that is a quick, abrupt end. Now, up comes the Molly. Savage on fire. Oh, this is the players from Team Salame looking to mix it all up. Of course, we still see Luna coming over on towards that western side. 4 squads in very close proximity to each other. But is this going to be the end for Savage? Or will Salami run into a wall?
I feel like Luna is coming up right in the same spot that 9Z and Team Liquid were in. So now Luna is in that same position coming up into Wolves and Team Salami. Wolves down to just a duo, pushing up into a duo from the Team Salami with a full 4-man team of Luna all along that eastern side. Luna dominating that eastern side, and there we are down to a solo for Team Salami. Well, Coops with that nade. Doran with the S12 trying to get... Oh, Doran going down. Coops coming up, trying to get that. And Coops going out on that stair push to Team Salami. It is a 1v4 once again at an ending in Miramar. It is Team Salami, the solo versus Luna. What is your prediction? Are we going to see another 1v4?
I mean, yeah, we are looking at a 1v4 right here. I don't know if Kadu is going to be able to lock this one out, though. I mean, looking at what Luna is going to be bringing in, they are quite focused and determined, so they want to get that. I mean, if Kadu was going to turn this around, they missed the opportunity, and now it is going to be exactly that. Luna coming in with the winner chicken dinner. Of course, the big celebratory air punch going out to them right there. But hey, Luna, they needed some points. They needed to find a good finish to this match. And you got to say, what better way to do it than with the winner chicken dinner?
Luna! For the winner chicken dinner. These ladies know how to push up a hill. This is their second win where it was uphill the entire way. Woo! GG's.
Yeah, well played to Luna. Definitely overcoming the uphill battle. They had to work their way through to get to the end of that match. But interesting play. I mean, looking at where they dropped, right? They started all the way over in Cruz del Valle, made their way slowly but steadily, just trying to catch up with that zone for at least the start of the match. But coming into the later stages, they were able to get themselves in a little bit more of a secure position where they could just, you know, kind of hold, read the zone, reposition, and keep on just getting closer and closer. And they got so close that they actually got their hands on that winner chicken dinner. Speaking of which, here we have the team breakdown. Tokyo bringing in a little bit of damage there as well, but it was Cam C and, of course, Nicole and one header that locked in all the eliminations for the squad here. You can see a decent distribution of that damage coming through as well, right? Both Nicole and one header bringing in 300 plus damage each. Of course, Cam C getting exactly 100 damage on the dot.
And I love seeing the usage of these grenades. Once again, we do see a lot of nades, especially from one header. That is so brilliant. And Tokyo.
Yeah, definitely you see that. And here we go. As you take a look at the scores, there's going to be Savage walking away with the glorious 16 pointers, 19-20 with regards to damage. Luna coming through on 14. A9Z GLOBANT coming through on a glorious 12-pointer. Team Salame and the Wolves are going to be howling in here with 11 points apiece. So a very good spread across the board for them. But unfortunately, as a result, a few squads are going to be sent back with nothing, right? JP almost there, 6-9. And JP again, right? Why not? 2 JPs on the list because it seemed to have been quite a bit of a challenging match.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when you're on there twice with donuts. But Dauntless, only 2 eliminations. I want to see this last match on fire for Dauntless. They had that momentum going, so I'm hoping that they can get it rolling.
Yeah, they definitely will have to get it rolling, keep that ball going. But, of course, there's only one match left, right? One game standing between the opportunity qualifying for the finals and, of course, a seat in the lobby, taking a look at the other teams competing. So it is going to be a pretty tough one coming into the final Erangel of this league stage, as there's a lot on the line. As we know, only so many teams can move forward, and this is going to be the decider, right? Who will get relegated and who will get the chance to participate and play for their share of the prize pool. Quite a bit on the line here. So I'm hoping the teams are going to bring in all the heat that they can find, bring everything in onto Erangel, and just make this one for the books, right? Play an absolutely insane match.
Oh, I want to see a hot. I want to see it hot, DK. I want to see so many limbs. I want to see these teams fight for the last match of this Continental League stage. This is it. This is it. They're going home with some extra bonus points for the finals, or they are going home.
Yep, so it's going to be one or the other. Which it will be, we'll find out very, very soon. But of course, well, that means that we're going to have to get something happening over here, right? Of course, before we get into our final match of the day, the final match of the league stage, we will have to take a look at a few of those highlights, but that will be coming up very, very soon. So if you have any predictions, any say in who you think is going to be winning the last match of the day, be sure to let us know in the chat. We, of course, we're just looking at all the teams that have been able to bring in those winner chicken dinners straight out of the bowl with an 18 elimination chicken. That's the craziest one that we've seen so far. But is the last one going to be the craziest match that we've seen in these past 4 days? Is this last one going to be the big one? I sincerely hope it will be, right? Because I want the teams to end this one on the highest level that they can, right? We want to see everything being let out coming into this game because it's, well, the last match.
The final match, and we are just minutes away from finding out what all our answers, DK, and we're gonna find out what do you even think are they. I think we'll go to a break and we'll figure it out. Welcome back, everyone, to the PUBG Mobile America's Challenger. This is the final match of the Continental stage, the final day final match and look at our leaderboard. DK, tell me what you see.
Numbers, arrows, pictures, and names, right? That's what we have on screen right there. The big thing here is going to be who can lock it in for the last game, right? They're just going to have to try and risk it all because only 4 teams can move forward, right? So there is quite a bit on the line here. We have 9 teams that have hit 100 points apiece. So it's a pretty tough day in the office, right? Zero Mercy, Faction Brazil, they could be hitting 100 in this last game as well. But then, of course, it is all down to the teams over on that right-hand side to see can they do what they need to make it happen. Realistically, looking at the numbers that we have for the teams on the lower end of the standings, right? Can a team like Dauntless or CP9 or 6-9 do something? I don't think CP9 or 6-9 can do anything coming into this last match, right? Whatever they've been doing throughout the entirety of the day, that's kind of the extent of it, right? I think it kind of stops here. I don't see them necessarily catching up. But can Dauntless do something? I mean, they are trailing by 16 points. So if they get the winner chicken dinner in this last match, maybe. But if not a winner chicken dinner, then I'd say no, right? There's nothing that they can do. And of course, the rest of the teams can just play for points, right? Can we see Savage move from the right side to the left side of the page? It all depends on whether or not they get the winner chicken dinner. I think for the drastic moves from the right side to the left side of the page, you're going to have to get a winner chicken dinner because without it, I don't necessarily see that happening.
Not only a winner chicken dinner, but we have to have some massive elimination points too. Because the winner chicken dinner is only 10 points, DK. These teams, some of these teams need a lot more than 10. At least double that, triple that. We have seen a 30 bomb. So hopefully we can see some big numbers.
I mean, I would like to see big numbers. Realistically, will it happen? I don't necessarily think so for the teams that need it, right? Because I'd be worried why they would only start now. But hey, let's be hopeful. Maybe they prove me wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong. But in the meantime, we are going to be starting all the way south, heading up towards Saverney, Stolber area. So, yeah, the big question is going to be what will the zone bring on through? At this point, as long as the zone is round, I'm happy with it.
I feel a Georgia Pole area zone. I just feel that. I don't know why, but sometimes your gut, you just have to wonder. It's got that wide open bay and one bridge going across. It's just my gut, but we got a couple of teams already down on military base. We got teams already spreading out. I like that they're spreading out. We don't have a lot of hot drops that I can see at the moment.
Oh, we see some training happening here as well. Maybe that is the way to go, right? Get yourself down there, ride a train all the way down to the very end. Yes, obscure your vision as you take that approach. But are they going to chug it all the way through? Ooh, a northern zone. Hey, that could be an interesting zone to play through. But I think the teams down south, they're going to go like, oh, man, why did we jump so early, right? The zone went all the way to that far northern side. Speaking about early, it's going to be straight out of NEPAL and Team Liquid getting right down to action.
Wow. So we did have a hot drop from Team Liquid and a straight out of NEPAL. Team Liquid already down. Allah, no. But now, can straight out of NEPAL finish off Team Liquid and go north to the zone? Because they do have quite a bit of distance to get up into the play zone.
I mean, 6-9 getting absolutely bullied, as we can see in the feed there. Team Salame also getting absolutely battered. So many teams getting caught in the crossfire. And now the big question is, who will be the one to survive? Prison definitely proving to be quite a bit of a challenging spot and the surrounding area. But again, right, where is this going to lead? Alpha 7 to go next as they get all their vehicles sorted. Meanwhile, back in Malta, straight out of Nepal, still going to be looking to make a little bit of something happen here. Influence Rage, they found Team Salame. So it is absolute carnage across the way. INF could get a nade. Yep, and there it comes. Oh, a very devastating blow. Now it's going to be Law and Diego having to try and pick up the pieces here. But again, such an aggressive showing coming through on both sides.
Yes, and see, INF Influence Rage down to a solo player. Diego over here in Watertown. Ow, I did not expect these teams to drop on top of each other, but we've got so many hot drops. DK. What? We've lost one team, but look at all the players down, or all the teams down to solos. All the teams with red knocked players already in the play. We just started.
Yep, we are almost 4 minutes into this match and we've already lost 2 teams. So straight out of Nepal also getting dropped down there. Now it is Team Salame coming up with a 2-piece. They've paid the price, right? They've lost half their squad. Now it's going to be Kadu getting hit as well. INF, little boy getting found. Can Diego survive this? 1-8 could maybe close this door here. But they are going to look to put a little bit of distance in between themselves and that push. Again, trying to play the buildings, right? Going for the elevation, going for the off-angle approach here. You can see little boy conveying the information back to their teammate. But here we have it now. Oh, beautiful nade coming through from Diego. 1 down, 1 more to go. Kratos is the only player left. But it doesn't seem like Kratos is going to look to try and dance around that block all too much. This nade could maybe have Kratos' name on it. Is it going to go all the way? It does, and that is it. It is Team Salame getting sandwiched back to where they started. Now, INF with a solo. That is not the way to go. It's going to be a very tough road ahead. But, well, it's going to be pretty tough for the rest of the lobby as well. As you can see, VRZ, Savage, holding up towards the north, almost there in the vicinity as well. So 3 teams contesting Savoni. Again, a very complicated play here. But let's see what they make of it.
Yeah, they are right on top of each other too, DK. We've got Savage, VRZ. We've got Dauntless, or almost there. I mean, we got all these teams up on that north side right there in Severny. And now we do have Dauntless down on top of Team Liquid coming out of Milta. We've got Game Over that has to come up along that bridge. It's Game On, right? And then we've got 9Z that has to come in, and which side of the river, because we know that this zone sometimes likes to go to that Roz area and put that river right between that final stages.
Well, that final stage is where the teams want to try and get themselves, right? All the way to the very, very end. But it does seem like Gaznaya Polyana could maybe be bringing in a little bit of action as well. Alpha 7, up they come with their rotation out over towards that western side. Not necessarily committing to the city as well. So can they find something, some kind of setup here as they move through the fuel station? They are going to be looking to prioritize a more northern rotation, but just how far are they going to look to go? Are they going to go all the way to the west and then rotate up, or just full on send it? Meanwhile, Luna and iNCO finding each other just on the foothills here. Oh, Nicole has been found. Quick confirmation coming in. Cam C now having to try and pick it up, but iNCO coming in waves.
Yes, this Stauber Recall Center does have so many ridges and hard cover areas. This is a difficult compound to fight, and Luna is down to one head of KMC against iNCO, and I believe iNCO might have lost one. I'm trying to see over on that side. Yes, iNCO is a trio, so it's a 3v2 right over here at this recall center.
Well, I see he's gonna get it. Ooh, one just pulling back on that trigger a little bit too early, but up comes iNCO. Now gonna rush forward. You need to reload though. 15 rounds is not gonna be enough. 26 will definitely do a lot better. Let's see whether or not iNCO are gonna get the jump here, coming through with a spread. Ah, there we go. Luna gets taken out of here. Out they go in 15th with one elimination up.
But what a play, though. This is a difficult drop, though. I'm kind of surprised to find two teams here, DK. Two teams in this area when there's no loot here. And you can see that they are really low. Woo, maybe not so much for McGrellin. He's got over 300 fives. He found something to loot.
Yep. Definitely a whole lot of fives coming through in there. Maybe has to share with the rest of the lobby. But no, Alpha 7, they're going to be looking to play for center zone. Almost there. Liquid, Game On, all going to be keeping their distance, but they are slowly heading up towards the zone. But up in the center, there's going to be Dauntless and TGAMES. That could be the first few to bump heads here with Alpha 7. We do see Diego from INF also up in towards that central positioning, so it could be a very interesting one. Maybe INF will get taken out really quickly, or Diego is going to cook up a storm.
But I also see a 2-2 split for Dauntless. They had Action Esports coming in from that west. They have so many teams coming in on top of them, on top of that, or to the north of the Rozhok River. So, Dauntless, you need to get a little close. Ooh, Median, with that. Getting knocked by Resilience Brazil.
Well, let's see, can KDC lock it in here? It is going to be a cheeky nade, finding one. So VRZ not being able to aggress on them just yet. So Molina is going to step up and play cleanup here. Let's find one. Find the next. There we go. Easy clap. Ooh, Alpha 7 though coming up behind Cantera. So Cantera could be in a world of trouble. Now Resilience having to try and get their hands on that Elam first. Otherwise, Alpha 7 is going to take it from them. So fortunately there for Cantera, Guaizo doesn't quite get the head in just yet, but they are now going to full send, full commit. Resilience could also be falling to the wayside here.
Yes, you know that Alpha 7 does come around looking for every third party possible, and I feel like they were trying to chase down that solo. So we have Revo, look at that, oh, and they find him. So Revo with that nade does get that knock. Revo.
Yep, Alpha 7 starting the match off trailing by 32 points behind Influence Rage. So it explains why they are coming so aggressively into this game. You can see Carrillo also keeping a watchful eye over on towards that bridge as iNCO is slowly encroaching. Almost there, coming through from the north. So Cantera is still going to be surviving for the time being, but we don't know for how much longer. Zero Mercy going to be pushing in from that southern side. Team Liquid looking for a place to call home. Dauntless right there alongside them. 9Z and Action coming in on this western side. But look at Alpha 7. They are now committing to the eastern front. They want to lock it down, make sure they can potentially maybe sweep their way through. Meanwhile, Action, they're going to be over here playing house in the squad house as they move in, parking the cars, making sure everything is safe and secure. Out comes Liquid, also looking for an entry point. Again, very, well, scoutish movement coming through here from them, right? Going to be scouting out that opportune angle, but they are only a duo. So Mythic and Storm Gonna look to find a better way to get themselves situated in the zone. This approach definitely is not going to be the way, as it is riddled with bullets. But now, Alpha 7, it's going to be go time.
Revo with the 4-piece. That was a squad wipe that we saw, and I just noticed that. But we've got all sorts of teams that are coming in on top of each other, and now here comes Alpha 7 pushing right up and in onto Savage Esports in the gas station, and there goes 2 of them down. Savage Esports coming around the back. Savage finds Obscure, takes him down. Revo going down. And Savage Esports going out. Revo up to 5 eliminations. Will get picked back up.
Yep, Alpha 7 definitely going to be chasing those 32 points. Up comes another team, maybe looking to offer themselves up. Let's see whether or not TGAMES will be able to get anything going over here as they send it up, but down they go. Oh, 1 down, 3 more to go. The rest of the crew now also joining the fray. As you can see, NC7 getting dropped down. 9K looking to move. Can they find the angle? Oh no, Revo just popping it all. Pedrin, the last one left. Yeah, just gonna move away. There's no hope trying to rush up onto Alpha 7. iNCO, they've been hearing the cacophony of shots. Now they want to come inspect, see can they maybe get in on the third party action here. They found themselves 5 eliminations so far. Can they find more? iNCO could definitely look to capitalize a little bit over on this edge, but there's going to be a pretty tough one, right? Alpha 7 down to, what's that, a 3-piece. We got INF, Diego, now just trying to survive. 9Z, though, in action, getting ready for a little bit of a something here over on the edge as Team Liquid comes rolling all the way to that far western side.
Right into 9Z, and now 9Z is trying to get some of those points, as well as Action Esports. They are all right on top, and you can see that Team Liquid is still moving on out of there. But one of them from Team Liquid does go down to Reyes from 9Z GLOBANT.
Well, let's see whether or not Action can get this ball rolling again. They've not found any eliminations, which is it's kind of out of place for Action, right? You would have expected a lot more to come through from them as they've made it up into this 4th phase of the match already. But now Alpha 7 sitting on 9 eliminations. They have tasted something in the water and they want more. Are they going to be able to get it though? iNCO just hugging the edge. TGAMES has been found. 1 elimination to their name. iNCO not committing to the push just yet. They see that Alpha 7 is rotating, trying to time the shot, trying to come in at exactly the right moment. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 now finding their next targets. It could maybe be Diego, but Diego, you got to brace yourself because Team Liquid is knocking on the door.
And Influence Rage over here down to just a solo, trying to hold off. Ooh, that Nate could hurt Team Liquid, trying to hold him off. And now Team Liquid is also getting picked apart by Alpha 7. Alpha 7 once again coming in to this 3rd party just to the north side of the Rozhok River.
Well, Alpha 7 trying to really assert a lot of dominance in this match. As I said earlier, the teams that need the points, it is almost a guarantee now that they are going to have an exceptionally hard time to get themselves those much needed points to secure their seats going into the finals. But here we go. This is going to be go time as iNCO trying to kind of just keep their distance. They don't want to get spotted just yet, but with DAUNTLESS starting to move up, they might not be able to be as hidden as they hope to be. VRZ, the meanwhile, are going to make their way out of here as well. A few teams up towards the north. You can see 9Z and Game On keeping a scout in the zone itself. Trying to kind of get a good read on what this lobby is going to bring on forward. Almost there, also trying to find that approach. They have only the 2 players, so they're going to have to be very selective. But who's not going to be selective is going to be Alpha 7, right? If it moves, they shoot. They are going to aim their scopes all over this map. They are going to look to make trouble for every other team in this lobby.
I feel like Alpha 7 says if it shoots, we move to it. That is what their game is this match. Alpha 7 is coming in, just finding every third party. They are hunting down all these players. And now we've got iNCO, McGrellin finishing off one of them from almost there. These teams, these hungry teams are just plucking grapes.
They're plucking grapes. They're finding every other piece of fruit that is going to be hanging around. But let's see now. Can iNCO get all the way to the green grocer? Will they find not only the grapes, but the veggies as well? Game on. Gonna try and survive, but they are getting shot. Down goes Legend. Now it's up to Natalio and Zoo to see, can they find a way out of the pressure point? Because 9Z is going to look to bring everything, including the kitchen sink, to this fight.
Yeah, I see so many of these teams with still donuts with one or two eliminate. Oh, and almost they're going out with just 2 points. But here they come. They are pushing up in the zone, but they've got influence rage. Alpha 7 center zone. Alpha 7 is making a statement this match. We have iNCO Gaming over on the east side, and I think Dauntless is getting ready to push right up into iNCO. Well, I think that might be our next fight. Oh, DK. This is chaos in stage 5. So much different than the 4 matches that we've seen today.
Well, let's see now whether or not Dauntless can maybe pick up a little bit of that amazing play they've had earlier on. There's still a bit of an opportunity here for them. I mean, just to finish the match on a high note, right? But now iNCO, again, still going to continue with what I would call a vulture approach, right? They are just circling around, waiting for the exact moment to strike, to play a little bit of that cleanup. Klaus has been found. Down he goes. Maybe that rest can still be secured, but now it's going to be iNCO. And of course, the side of Alpha 7 here on the edges as well. Both teams now just trying to acquire the next targets. McGrellin going to be looking for a little bit of something. iNCO now starting to expand, taking a wider and wider breach here, but it's going to be game on. That is going to be finding the next bit of action here as 9Z ascends down upon them. The grenades flying through, the vehicles coming up, and with that, off they go. Their ticket gets punched, and out they are in 8th place.
Wow, this is a totally different match than what we've been seeing tonight. And now we do have Alpha 7 out and trying to look for the influence rage. Diego trying not to breathe. And I think they found Diego. Diego trying to hold off Alpha 7. He's got mollies. He's got, oh, that nade. That nade is going to be right into the nade shack. And he's got, ooh, but he used that. S12. And look at Revo. He is up to 9 eliminations. Revo by himself with 9 out of the 12 eliminations for Dauntless.
Pretty crazy showing coming here through from them. But now, this is the opportunity for Action to find a few points of their own. We do see Zero Mercy moving in just below them. Is this going to be the opportunity? Will they get the chance to secure those sprays? It is going to be a very tough one, though, because Dauntless are holding on the edge here as well. But fortunately for them, Dauntless is not looking in their direction, right? So they can steal these plays from Dauntless. But here we go. Action. They have lost a little bit of health over onto Gigante. Now it's going to be High looking to move up. Zero Mercy trying to get themselves patched up before pushing through this hillside. Oh, Cheeky Nade coming in here. So far, so good. Oh, is it going to find any connection, though? Not quite just yet, but it gets close just enough to spook Action. Tato finds the spray, and this is now going to be a full send here. Zero Mercy looks to commit. They want to find everything available to them. Hyde goes down, and that is the entirety of Action getting swept away. Alpha 7 are looking to capitalize with their third-party play. it is going to be a pretty tough one to get the jump onto. Dauntless starting to move up as well. They still have all 4 players in the fight. Alpha 7 now getting spotted, but managing to duck and dive through all that lead.
Ooh. And now the fight with Claus, just getting that knock over onto iNCO. Claus was picked back up, so now iNCO is down to just a solo. It is just McGrellan. McGrellan with that DBS coming right up and onto this one stack, trying to go, ooh, right out of that vehicle. No, but Claus shutting, Wancho shutting that down. Excuse me, Wancho.
Well, there we go. We are down to the final 4. Alpha 7 on 14 eliminations. 9Z on 4. Dauntless on 4. Zero Mercy, 4. So a whole lot of 4s all over the place. Who is going to be the next team to go? Alpha 7 now getting spotted. It is sorely down to only Guizor to see. Can they get the reses in? So far, the answer is yes. Carrillo is back up. Next is going to be Revo. Revo going to be looking to just capitalize on the aggression here. They are buying themselves a little bit of time. Up comes Zero Mercy. Carrillo goes down yet again. Potato super low on that health bar. Does have a few meds to use. So the health is definitely not going to be an option, problem rather here for Salman. But Alpha 7, not quite sure if they are in the same setup. Of course, a very divided position being played here. Teams trying everything they can do to get themselves in. Potato even crashing into the hillside to get over to Inspector. But the pressure is on. The teams want to try and clutch it out. Everybody now just hugging the edge of zone.
Yeah, and we've got Dauntless that could have gotten some of those elimination points over onto Zero Mercy, but they do have 9Z GLOBANT coming right up on top of them. So Dauntless losing out on some of this third party of A7, but DK, this fight with A7 and Zero Mercy has been going on so much longer than I expected. Zero Mercy pushed up that hill from after swimming across the river and then coming up that hill. It is such a hard push to get into that zone.
Yeah, it definitely is proving to be quite a bit of a challenge here, but let's see, maybe Dauntless can get something happening as they do send out a lot of utilities, absolutely barraging the side here. Barraging? New word. The side there of 9Z, absolute carnage. But again, right, the teams are going to have to try and find a way to get through this. Alpha 7, they've been an absolute menace to the lobby, but now they find themselves in quite a tricky position here. All the way removed from zone. The blue is going to start to close up very, very soon. And Carrillo has been found out earlier. We did see that confirmation coming through. Now, Salmon going in for the res. Dauntless, the only team left with a full 4-piece. Can they get this place secured? It's down to the wire. Just got to get the angle onto Reyes. Reyes spots out Juancho. Juancho. Can they get it? Oh, banger has been found. Now it's going to be another go opportunity. Going to have to send the spray in. That's the only way that you can alleviate the pressure coming through from Reyes.
Revo finishing off both of the duo from Zero Mercy. So Revo now with Carrillo are going to be coming over into this third party, either on top of Dauntless or 9Z, depending on which way they go. We have such big names in this right now. And look at the statistics, DK. They're calling 9Z GLOBANT the winner at this point. And 9Z is downhill from both of these teams.
Yeah, that is a very tough spot to be in. Dauntless is going to be the next one to fall. Out they go. Alpha 7 about to hit 20 points. If they can secure one more elimination. But they are going to try and push for that winner chicken dinner. But 9Z is not going to look to make it easy on them as they go for a 2-1 split. As you can see, Melina going for that far rotation, going over to the far edges here. Just trying to see if they can maybe find a little bit of something. They know the zone is either going to go one way or the other, but it did switch over towards the western side. Now for Alpha 7, this is where things become a little bit more complicated because, as you can see, there's not much cover coming into this terrain. So they are going to try everything. Maybe find a little bit of a something on this ridge. Oh, the challenger is going to be right ahead of them. Going to be super careful with this tree, though. Spots out the player. Out they come, getting ready to go. The hill providing good cover, but 9Z moving up, looking to fortify the position. The molly's flying both directions. Is it going to be enough, though? I like what is going to be happening here by Quaizo as they move up onto the hill. Reyes just trying to sneak on up, but Revo already spotted them out. Oh, down goes Revo. Down goes Alpha 7. And 9Z coming in with a winner chicken dinner. Alpha 7 tried to claim a 30 bomb. They came so exceptionally close, but 9Z GLOBANT just denied that from happening. Instead, they took the victory and they walk away with the second winner chicken dinner.
9Z stopping that insane carnage from Revo with 15 eliminations to himself. What a frag. So we just witnessed A7 go from each and every third party they could find. They started off on the hot drop and just continued. And that gas station play, I don't even know what happened there. Revo just never stopped hitting those S12 shots.
I mean, that was one of the places where everything could have gone south for them really quickly. But fortunately, they were able to hold on and just kept on pushing. So it's good to see a very aggressive ending coming to the final match of the day. So you got to give a big shout out to Alpha 7. That was amazing to witness. And of course, with that, they pushed their overall elimination tally through the roof. But there was one team that got that winner chicken dinner. It was 9Z GLOBANT here, as we can see, finishing strong with a rather comfortable 8 eliminations. Now, adding that up puts them almost on 90 total eliminations that they've been able to secure. And a crazy performance nonetheless. But looking at the damage, it was very spread out, right? 400, 400, 400. Remix almost hitting 500 damage. Coal King, surprisingly enough, only getting 200 damage and 2 eliminations. Still a very consistent conversion rate coming through there. Milia, unfortunately, not finding any eliminations, but doing quite a bit of work to help ensure the eliminations for the rest of the team.
Well, 436 damage. That's kind of one of my games. You know, 2,000 damage, 1 elim. But DK, look at the nade usage. Again, these bigger teams with their nades are just so impressive.
Yeah, Alpha 7 though, not quite getting that 30 bomb, but they get real scary close as they finish on 25 points for this game. They needed 32 to catch Influence, but Influence also secured 5 points for themselves, so only closing the gap by 20. So Influence Rage is still going to be sitting at the tippity top of those rankings. And as you mentioned earlier, of course, the teams will be getting bonus points based on where they've played. So, yeah, makes sense why Alpha 7 was trying to play that serious game of catch-up. But you got to give credit to 9Z. Of course, a strong finish coming in here. 18 points is going to bode quite well for them, especially seeing that they were tied with Team SALAME coming through on 113 points apiece. Action, though, they tried to bring in a little bit of something. They were potentially in a situation where they could catch up. But, well, 2 points, not going to be enough to beat the 18 points that we saw coming through here from 9Z GLOBANT. But, of course, the 5 batches have now been concluded, right? Both Erangel's, Miramars, and that one Rondo that we had, in which we saw a glorious 18 elimination victory being secured by straight out of Nepal. So some pretty spicy gameplay coming through here today. The teams definitely trying to secure as much as the lobby would allow them to, but you got to give it up for everybody, right? Some pretty exciting gameplay that we've seen over these past 4 days.
This has been my favorite match tonight, and Revo 48 Total eliminations, 8,200 damage. That is so much damage. And 41 grenades. I like that number. I like that number a lot. Diego from Influence, Rage, and Law, both in the top 5, with Diego at 36, Law at 33, and then Colgate, Cool King with 35.
Yeah, Colgate is going to make anybody smile, but Coal King does the same thing, right? It's not quite toothpaste, but it's a lot better. It's some sweaty action coming through here. Speaking about sweaty, look at these points. 167, 155 points. Insane business here. And of course, that all through 16 matches that each of our teams have played. Dauntless at least managing to change it all up coming into the last day of play, right? They went from 19 points at the start of the day, and now they've closed the gap considerably, and I like what is happening over here. But the question is, has it all been enough? As we can see, the entry into the left side of the page is going to be capped at 92 points. The rest of the teams sat where they are. We did see Resilience also just changing places. They're catching up a little bit, moving up with the slots. But yeah, it's now to be seen who has done enough to secure their positions going to the finals. And of course, I think the finals is going to be pretty sweaty based on what we've seen in just these past 4 days.
Oh, I think so too, DK. We're going to have 3 days of absolute chaos and carnage, and I cannot wait. And that is it for us tonight. This is it. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe. Come back next week for finals. Finals is going to be insane. Good night, everyone.